coming out, and Jared has a submission to that. Very on topic for tonight's Tales of Local Terror. So keep an eye out for that. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm finishing up issue 2 of Cosmic Dust here in the next couple days. Hopefully, I have it done by the 1st. If not, shortly thereafter. And then I want to get to work on Signal Test, which is going to be
Excellent.
a WHPA fanzine.
Awesome, my dude. Very
cool.
exciting.
It's a great name too.
That's going to be awesome.
Thanks for being with us. Jeremy, where are you from and what are you doing, pal?
Well, I'm hanging out in my office, my house in Oklahoma, where I've been living since I moved from California a few years ago. I'm new to the writing scene. I wrote this thing a few months ago.
Awesome. Yes. I've heard of this.
And working on a bunch more stuff. I got some Dungeon Crawl Classics material in the works. I've got a Troika book in the works. Been starting conversation with Brian about some stuff for Neon Lords. So
tell me about the Troika book.
Nice.
I have written, I just haven't done layout, and the art's not finished. A setting book for Troika called The Interdimensional Mega Mall.
Oh,
yeah,
it's my money.
Yeah, it's full of great 80s and 90s era, hang out at the mall stuff, but on an infinite level. So it's a never-ending mall that exists kind of between the spaces in the multiverse, and it's a place where anything and everything can exist. But you're going to see, you're going to see all kinds of familiar stuff and some not so familiar stuff. It should be fun.
I'm a big Troika fan. I have yet to play any game, but I read the book. I finger through it weekly, so I look forward to that. Awesome. Thanks for being on. All the way from the Great North. Vienna Beef is in the house.
So thanks, Joey. Garrett here, better known as Vienna Beef. My time on the clock is sort of unimportant. Off the clock, I am looking to play games, looking to get into books. I got a couple of good guys here. Well, 3 or 4 or 5, it sounds like, that are just pumping out that good shit. And Neon Lords fanatic. I'm not. I've written a little bit of fan stuff for Neon Lords, but really, when it comes down to it, I am a PC-minded guy. I want to get in and play and bring the game and the universe to life.
And you do a great job at it. I've had some of my favorite gaming experiences with you. Very good. Mr. Punishment himself, one of our active contributors to all of the chats. It's great to meet you in person, buddy.
Absolutely. Great to meet all you guys. I'm Zach, Punishment 90. You guys probably have seen me on the Discord and all around, but I am here from my basement. And I stream on Twitch, some old school boomer shooters and stuff like that. And I'm working on some stuff in the background for Neon Lords and some other ideas that I've been talking to Brian with. So that will be in the future.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
And he essentially runs the Neon Lords Discord at this point.
I'm the mod there. So if anybody has any problems, just hit me up and, I'll help you out.
Bri, you sent out a Kickstarter update today. For those who haven't seen it, why don't you share it with the crew?
It was pretty much just talking about the TotalCon exclusive cover. It's going to be a soft cover version of the updated rules with an old adventure added in. Took Space Bulk out. It's not going to be in there. Operation Cherry Bomb redo is going to be in the back. A little update to it. Added new graphics and some added text. And soft cover, what else was about it? That's pretty much it. It's going to be available at TotalCon, and I'll probably have some copies available after the fact. I know some people are already wanting to get their sleazy, slimy mitts on them. So they'll be
Let me
available.
cut in for just 1 second there, Brian. So,
Yeah.
like you said, maybe for people that can't make it to the con, if you have some available, pick it up. Like I've got the soft cover, of the first ed, if you want to call it that or whatever. And for just like a lightweight book to throw in your bag to take somewhere to play or just play wherever, it's just more convenient to sort of navigate than like the hardcover's nice. Obviously, we all have them, we all love them, but like for just a more
Playable
Peter.
copy.
maneuverable book, they're really nice. So if you can get one of these new ones, try to get one.
And
That's my
thank you, I appreciate it.
A beater copy.
Mixam has updated it where I can print on the inside of the cover now. So I'm gonna put the combat cheat sheet in the front and then like the Loot the Dead Dude stuff in the back.
yeah.
Nice.
So it'll be right there. So you can just boom boom with the soft covers.
Collect them all.
Loot
Collect
the
them
Dead
all.
Dude, page 150. Boom.
Well, you're gonna have
Look
to.
at that.
It's gonna be new now.
No,
With
I know. I'm
total-
gonna have to memorize new numbers.
Total Carnage edition, 306 pages, baby.
Woo!
That's one thing I've done different with the second issue of Cosmic Dust. The first one
Oh yeah, I
would
didn't even
make
think of that.
reference and say, for this information, go to this page of the core rules. Now in this issue, it just says check the core rules.
Yeah,
So,
just a
I don't
section.
know if
Yeah,
it's going to be the same page or not.
I had to update all of those. I had to like Control F every page number that was in, and update them all to new
Yeah.
ones. It was a
I
pain in
bet
the
that was a
butt.
pain, dude.
Yeah, so that's why from now on I just reference like not actual pages, just like Loot the Dead Dude or
Yeah.
minor mutations or like just all that good stuff. So then Joey,
Been
what?
through the.
Oh,
Oh,
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
No,
ahead.
go.
I was just gonna say I've been through the original core rules enough times now that I have a good idea like where to open it up to, depending on what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I usually get fairly close.
Yeah, that's a good thing too of having so much ridiculous, stupid stuff in it, to where it's like, all right, that's that. I know where I am at in the book due to like what art is on what page.
Yeah, right.
That definitely helps. So
Well, now
You
you'll
should
be able
give
to
the,
find your way even easier with the beautiful toxic green placeholding ribbon
yeah,
that will be released.
we got the
Very
ribbon.
fancy.
Yeah,
Very,
the
very
the
fancy.
company message, and they're like, "Hey, what ribbon do you want?" And I was like, "Well, I didn't ask for one, but I'm gonna take it." Like, even if I gotta like,
Oh,
if
yeah.
I gotta pay for it, obviously I gotta pay for it, But like, I don't know if it was in the original quote or not. I don't care. We're getting a ribbon.
So by 2023, this year, if you have
Classy.
nothing else that will come out after what you've experienced, you told us about. So we have the hardcover and the soft cover. We'll call first print. First edition,
First printing. Yeah,
right? Then
Yeah.
we're gonna have the Kickstarter,
yeah.
Right?
Total Carnage edition.
Total
yes.
Carnage edition.
Yep,
Then you're gonna have Total Con edition,
yep.
which is soft cover.
A soft cover. Yep.
So right now there's 4.
Well,
Is
and
there
then
an
you and
alternate cover.
yeah, then there's the alternate cover for the first Kickstarter. So you could
See,
check. Yeah, like that.
These are
There you go.
these are
There
the
you
only
go.
ones
Okay.
I have. I
Yeah.
need to.
All right, Jeremy, show. I don't have one of those. Show me those again. All right, I don't have the one with the Cosmic Barbarian one. Is that a hardcover?
Yep.
These are
that's-
both hardcover. Yep.
Okay. All right. I didn't even know that. I've learned something new every time.
The one is Mustafa, and the other one is Diogo.
Diogo. Yep.
Very good. All right, I didn't know that. So,
You should
Bri,
quickly,
you came up with the. Oh, go
You
ahead,
should-
Vienna.
You should just quickly tell the people watching when and where TotalCon is, just in case someone's looking to spend a weekend.
Good
I
question.
will tell you, I just booked Brian and I's hotel. It's going to be in Marlborough, Massachusetts. Beautiful downtown Marlborough, Massachusetts. And that's going to be the last week of February. The Sewer Rats Incorporated are going to be there. And I know Levi Combs is going to be there from Planet X Games. Jeffrey Talanian. I don't think DCC will be there in official capacity, but I know all of our local DCC gong farmers will be present, representing the East Coast. So
Dr. Metal will be there.
Dr. Metal will be there from Pizza Party. And I heard Cousin Marty might also be there as well, Bri. Did you hear that?
Yeah, Cousin Marty is scheduled for an appearance, yes.
I heard they were going to be in gimmick the entire con.
Oh, God.
Body.
But Joey, so yeah, that brings up a question. Are you going to be in gimmick all con? Because this is like...
What do you mean gimmick?
What's this gimmick?
What do you mean? Am I going to dress up like a clown or something? You calling me a clown?
What, you think this is a costume?
Joey Royale is going to be there. What you see is what you get. Gimmick. All right? Joey Royale is going to be there for all 3 days. All right? There's going to be mustache all over the pillow. It's the real deal, baby.
Dress warm. It sounds like it's going to be cold.
There is no other side anymore. Over the past almost 365 days to the date, almost, this has taken over, and I'm happy. I'm embracing it, bro.
Yeah, we've taken over this year, Joey.
yeah. My bank account begs to differ, but we'll get there. It's the experience, right? It's the experience.
Yeah.
But no, Brian, you and I actually, I wouldn't have met all these guys without you. But
Yeah.
I wanted to say happy anniversary of when we first met.
Yeah, it was like after episode 1 of Pizza Party.
Pizza Party was January. I think it was probably like the second Wednesday or Thursday. You got in touch with me soon after that. We started banging out the raviolis.
Yep.
Next thing you know, I'm in upstate New York having sandwiches with the Neon Lord, with Vienna beef. We're rolling dice. We're telling tales. It was beautiful. Yeah.
That was an awesome weekend.
Solar blades and Jogo's solar blades and cosmic spells. All of that stuff he's got is great. Yep.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Joey's like that Kiss where you take the mask off and it's just another mask.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
or like the Unknown Comic. You take off one paper bag and there's the other paper bag under it.
Right.
Yeah.
Just wrinkled.
So, Brian, do you have any plans to do an updated screen?
Yeah, so screen's gonna happen. I haven't figured out like in what capacity, because I'm not a screen guy, so it's hard for me. So I don't know if I want to do like a pizza box, like it looks like a pizza box.
That's a cool idea.
Or like a trapper keeper, but a pizza box might actually work, because then you could put your book in it and like carry
That's
it
a
around.
fantastic idea.
So that might stick now that people are interested in it.
A Neon Lord kit that comes in the pizza box with like a screen.
Yeah, it would be a kit with some cards. Yeah.
This is the executive board table. You guys are just banging out these great ideas.
Well, you know how it is. Dude. Pretty much, if you ask me, if you ask me about a product, I've either tried to figure it out, have talked to factories about it, or it's in the works.
So I have an idea for another episode already. Right. Given this, we get a crew like this again together, probably the same guys, and we have 1 hour to make a new role-playing game.
Yeah,
I bet we could do it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's do it. 100%.
Like
you guys down for that one episode?
Almost like a Mad Dungeons podcast thing.
Yep.
Oh, you said Mad Dungeons podcast?
I did.
Well, have you heard the Mad Dungeon podcast that I was on?
I have.
My God. Who has not heard about that?
Just another thing, like Joey was saying, that I wouldn't have known of if I wouldn't have known about you, Brian. So I'm thankful to get into the Mad Dungeon cult. I love the music. The podcast is awesome too. I really like it.
Did you back their latest Kickstarter?
I did.
Me too. Solid, very nice guys. Very nice.
Funny.
Good people. Yeah. But yeah, if you've never seen the Dungeon that podcast, I'd say it's one of my finest moments of my life.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, I was like
a little.
It was like
Mad Dungeon.
Mad Dungeon podcast. So people go on, creators go on, and you essentially make a dungeon with them, like over the course of the episode.
Oh, word.
So it's just madness. It's zany madness, like through and through. Of course, like we ended up making Head Kicker the musical.
Nice.
I won't spoil it for you, but it's fantastic.
As we say
Sweet.
around here, they're friends of
Sounds
ours. Like
fantastic.
if you're down with Neon Lords, you'd be down with the way these guys roll.
Yeah, good people.
Sounds cool.
Yeah.
So that's the intro.
Yeah.
Now Brian
The,
came up
our
with,
intro.
with the skeleton for most of this show. I think during our last show, you just kind of spitballed this. This is kind of like the holiday special, Happy New Year, looking forward to 2023 and all that nonsense they got thrown us around. Time is an illusion. There is no such thing. But you know, it's not an illusion. Conspiracy theories, cryptozoology, and soda.
Pops.
Soda pop.
And a preface a warning. This is, no one is saying anything about believing anything that we're saying. It's all for, entertainment purposes only. No one's like saying, "Oh, I believe," because I'm going to talk maybe about some flat earth stuff. But I don't believe in the flat earth, just as a warning to the people. It's just
For
interesting.
entertainment purposes
But
only.
you
Yes.
are, but you are gonna fuel the fire, is what you're saying.
Yeah. So actually, it's funny because I ended up getting a the magnets, the word magnets.
Yeah.
I got a conspiracy theory one that has like chemtrails and
Nice.
like Bigfoot and stuff on it, and it came with a tinfoil hat, but I left it downstairs. I was going to put it on for this.
These are fun. Well, I won't say fun conspiracies, but there's these, people like us conspiracies and the other conspiracies. We're going to focus on more of like picture Robert Stack or Art Bell narrating the commercials in this one. We're going down that route, all right?
Yeah, I'm
That kind of
I'm
stuff.
Art Bell. You're George Norrie. How about that?
So, listen, I'll jump off the Zoom right now. I'll drive up 6 hours and I'll slap that beard right off your face. Right?
Hey, George Norrie's not bad.
Listen. He used to be not bad, and then it got weird and it got really political. Like when he first took over for Art, it was still supernatural and kind of interesting science stuff. And then I dropped off, and when I went back to read about what happened to him and all that, it was pretty clear that he had joined. It seemed as if he joined the dark side and got really into, the other kind of stuff. So, yeah, what are you gonna do? So let's have fun. Let's shoot around a little bit. Brian, you want to start off with a soda?
Yeah, I got a D6. I labeled all the tops. So my
So you
first
went out
soda.
and bought 6 sodas.
Yep.
This guy said, "Boy, he doesn't mess around." I got
Number
2.
6. I got Sioux City ginger beer.
All right.
I don't know if it's a twist off, but I came prepared.
Now, where did you pick this up at, Brian?
So there's a store called Runnings. It's a chain. I don't know if you guys have it. It is essentially like a hunting store, like farm. So there's like a bunch of stuff for horses and pigs and stuff. But they have a bunch of like bulk candies and like smoked meats and stuff. It's a manly store. And then they have a whole wall of like the sarsaparillas and the ginger beers and all those. So I went there and got a mix and match 6-pack. So get the aroma. You ever have ginger beer before?
Oh, I used to love a good dark and stormy. Yeah.
It's not bad. It's interesting.
Jeremy, what's that brand that you
No, I
have
do not
down
like
there?
it.
You don't like it?
Oh, I hate ginger.
Yeah, Jeremy, that's a very Brandenburg.
It's Bundaberg. It's
Bundaberg.
it's from Australia.
I think I've
And,
had that one. That goes great with a dark rum. That's a very spicy number there. So, Brian,
Yes,
why
it is.
don't you have you had ginger beer before, Brian?
I've never had ginger beer. I thought it would have been like ginger ale. It is not like ginger ale.
Oh, no. That's a different story. While we're on the
Nope.
topic,
This is a man soda.
while we're talking about gingerines, I picked this up from my local Stop and Shop. The brand is DG Genuine Jamaican. And if you look, they don't even use, the soft drink, no tea. They could not waste the time on putting a tea there. You got pineapple ginger, and then you got this real cool 90s cat. And what I really like about this is they went as far as to do like the mirror upon mirror where it's the cat drinking the drink, drinking the cat. So it goes all the way back ad infinitum.
Nice.
And now, let's see, pineapple ginger. I've had bad experiences with pineapple sodas in the past. I don't know if it's just my fragile makeup, but a lot of times when I was a young kid, I would drink like pineapple Jarritos and I would break out in welts. I don't know if it's something to do with pineapple flavoring, but I'll take one for the team tonight. Here is Jamaican pineapple ginger. Oh, yeah.
Did you get some of that bouquet first, though?
Oh, this has a strong. That's got the burn. That's how you know it's a good ginger beer. I like the burn.
Nice.
I like the burn. And the pineapple, they're not messing around. This is very strong ginger beer with very, I would call it viscous. It's a viscous pineapple blend in there. It's thick.
Huh.
You can walk some good boogies with this one.
Viscous.
I've never heard of that one, Joey. And Brian, I've got 2 places here in town where I get Sioux City stuff, but I've never encountered their ginger beer. We get the root beer, the sarsaparilla, the cream soda, the orange cream, but never the ginger beer.
Yeah, I wish I
didn't know
got
they had
literally any other one. I'll finish it though.
Empress 8584 tells me to try Cupina, which is a Cuban soda, and I'm going to write that down. That sounds delicious. I love ginger beer these days. Thank you for that suggestion, Empress. All right. Anybody else got a soda they want to throw around?
Yeah, what's
Zach,
next on
what
the
you got over
Yeah,
there?
I got some local stuff here. My background might mess around with it, but this
Local
is Big
meaning
Ben.
Pennsylvania, correct?
Yes, Central
Yeah.
Pennsylvania. This is Big Ben's. It is bottled and made by the Catawissa Bottling Company, about 20 minutes from me. And it is American birch beer, as you can see, very patriotic. And this place has been around forever, since the government first put out the ability for people to make their own soda.
Wow.
So
Are you
Yeah,
on the are you on the Philly side or the Pittsburgh side?
I'm right in the middle,
Right in the middle. Okay.
but I'm closer to Philadelphia than I am Pittsburgh. So.
Okay.
So, Zach, what is birch beer for those of us who've never encountered it before?
So birch beer is basically, it's like root beer, but they may use it with
a birch
the
tree.
birch tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you
Okay.
familiar with the birch tree?
It tastes a little different.
It's
It's
the white bark. Now, when
Yep.
I was a kid, we would break off. Now, when I was a boy, we'd
God.
break off a switch from the tree and you chew on it, and it tastes
Yeah.
like. Yeah,
That's not true.
Okay.
You didn't do that.
No,
Well,
yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing.
I also have a birch.
Are you
beer.
like 85?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I use a lot of nice Mary Kay moisturizer.
The only guy I know who still talks about the $6 million man.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a good show.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Brian, I tell you, if you haven't watched it yet, you'll like it. It's
So-
very cool.
Out of all the old shows you talk about, there's the Night Stalker is the one I want to watch.
Kolchak
Oh,
the
yeah.
Night Stalker. Listen, here's my holy trinity. All right.
Yeah.
I got it. I'm gonna go from 3 to 1. $6 Million Man, Kolchak the Night Stalker, and my number 1, a weekly viewing, Columbo. I cannot watch enough Columbo. I love Columbo. Man, can I ask you a question, man? All right. While we're talking about birch beer, and we'll get into conspiracies, here's a local one. I'm in Connecticut. This is in East Haven. This has been around forever. Fox and Park. They sell at the Stop and Shop. They have the most gorgeous lemon lime green. It's just a perfect green. It just glows on the shelf. They have a delicious orange. This is a family brand. Now, this is a birch beer. My son I had him help me pick out this one today. I haven't tried their white birch.
Did you get a bouquet?
This is straight birch.
Yeah.
This is
That's how
birch-
mine was.
So
Yeah,
like,
man.
what's a?
Messing around with this.
I didn't want to. What's a birch?
That hits that gland right in the back, and you gleek automatically. I'm spraying.
Yeah.
I'm spraying all. I'm like a sprinkler over here. That is woo. That's hardcore birch beer. Does not have the burn, Bry, of the ginger. This is just it's I'm eating a tree.
So
Yep.
does anybody know, either here or in the chat, if you can find that away from the East Coast? Because you guys are
Birch
talking
beer?
about, yeah, you're talking about it, but you're both on the East Coast.
That's true.
It
You're
is
the
a
only
local
one that's not on the
Northeast.
East Coast, Jeremy.
Vienna, Garrett, do you have birch beer up in Canada?
They don't have birch trees up there.
We manufacture other items from our birch trees. We do not allocate birch trees towards soda. It's a nationalized industry, so like it's complicated.
Okay.
A non-Canadian just isn't gonna, we're on a limited timetable. Joey, I'll send you some literature, some far left Canadian nationalized lumber industry pamphlets.
I look forward to that. I actually collect those, so that'll be wonderful.
While we're on the Canadian subject, what is your crypto you're bringing to the table?
Well, can I do my
I
my
apologize.
soda first?
Yes.
You're gonna love it, Brian. I got it just for you because I know
excited.
you love the Canada shtick. So
Yeah.
I'm laying it on heavy like maple syrup, baby.
I was
Woo!
gonna say, is it maple soda?
That's probably
So
poutine.
this is a Coca-Cola,
Mhm.
Oh,
but if you can see that, it's a blue cap Coca-Cola. It's got a blue label.
what is
This
this?
is
Oh, it's a-
Coca-Cola Quebec maple flavor.
Ooh,
That's
I
awesome.
don't.
Yeah.
Do you guys get these?
No.
No.
Oh. But I'm gonna start making it.
So I got my Greg the Hammer Valentine. I got Greg the Hammer Valentine bottle opener here. I'm gonna open her up.
All right. Is that really a Greg the Hammer Valentine opener?
It's a Greg the Hammer.
Oh my God, it is
Yeah,
gorgeous.
awful human being, but he's fun to watch wrestle. Okay, so here we go. I've actually tried it before, but awful. However, you add a little bourbon to it, and it
Oh, yeah.
improves.
And that's bullet bourbon you're adding with that, right?
That's
You're
a little
not
bit of
messing
bullet.
around.
This
That's
is what this pop needs. It's such an abomination. It needs a bullet right in the head. But
What?
yeah,
What?
so
What?
I am not a maple Canadian. I push back against the whole maple thing. It's sort of cliche, whatever. I'm more of a salt savory guy than a sweet guy anyway, so the maple doesn't typically do it for me. You guys can't get these, so I'm not going to recommend it because what's the point? But
is that a seasonal thing, or you can just walk into your local gas station and pick those up with these?
there's like they do 4 packs of the bottles, and there's 4 different flavors. I think they do a Mexican Coke, which is the
Awesome.
Mexican Coke recipe,
Yeah,
Yes.
we get those.
but
Mhm.
made like it's made here, but it's it's called Mexican Coke because it's the recipe, not from
Yeah.
Mexico.
Yeah.
And then there's something else. It's like cinnamon, and then I don't know what are sweet things, marshmallow, or like there's 4 kinds, and this one, I thought you got to play to your crowd, and Brian loves the Canadian shtick, so
I do.
Quebec maple Coca-Cola.
Very good.
But is
Very
there notes of maple syrup in it?
There's an artificially mapley flavor. So, if you were to crack open a, like a syrup you'd get just off the shelf, as opposed to like a proper maple syrup, same sort of thing. It's,
Corn syrup.
yeah, it's, maybe they use real maple syrup. I don't know. I haven't really researched it, but the flavors are not, there's a manufactured taste to it as opposed to a real authentic.
More of a Miss Butterworth tinge.
Okay, so hot take: I prefer fake maple syrup over real maple syrup.
You know what? I'm not gonna criticize you for that. There are some that do have a special taste that just makes that breakfast right.
I'm a guest here, so
No, you could say it's okay.
This is an open forum.
Don't let Garrett like muscle you into saying something.
no, I only said that as a joke. No, I grew up with the fake stuff because we didn't have a lot of money, and I didn't encounter the real maple syrup until I was an adult. And I prefer the real maple, but I'm good either way.
It's like
Yeah,
honey.
It wasn't until I became a parent did I realize how expensive maple syrup is. I think that was one of the first times I swore in front of my children when I was at the grocery store, and I said, "Hold!" When I saw the price of what maple syrup costs, it was crazy.
But the
We
one thing,
growing up.
the same, and Mrs.
Yeah.
Butterworth, yeah.
Yeah.
The one thing though that makes the real maple syrup better, regardless of any other kind of qualifiers, is when you get down to the bottom of the bottle, especially if it's a glass bottle, and there's always that little bit that just doesn't want to come out. You fill that bottle back up with bourbon, give it a good shake, and let it sit for a couple of days.
Yeah.
That's
It's a
you
pretty
don't
good
get
idea.
that kind of experience with the fake stuff.
I got to pause for 1 second because we have an excellent question from Lord Gatewood. What energy drink? I thought about this before. Most tastes like Glug Chug.
Rippets.
Rip it?
You ever have Rippets?
I've never had Rip It.
They're like
Thing?
yeah. So okay, so it's a twofold thing because they do sell them at the dollar store, but it's what the Army supplies you on deployment for energy drinks are Rippets.
Really?
Yeah.
So they support the ingestion of it?
Yeah, the little
The
cans.
The little things, yeah.
Yeah, so you just grab a case of little cans and you just sit and drink like 40 of them.
Sounds like they encourage the ingestion.
And then you write an RPG book.
Yeah, and then you write an RPG book and then Rippets, but then there's and actually there was a guy in the Discord, I'm not going to remember his name, which sucks, I feel bad, but he was buying Rippets and making his players drink it, and that's how High Octane Freedom Potion is a Rip It flavor too, but it's the cherry limeade one.
Okay. All right, so I guess we can get them at the dollar store. I'm going to check this out, and maybe I'll have another syncope episode, as I did the last time.
Rip It Power X flavor.
Man,
Nice.
I've never
Dangerous
seen that
stuff
here.
there,
I'm gonna have
folks.
to figure out how to get some.
I'll get you some.
dangerous stuff.
I'll smoke. So like this summer, I'm definitely coming up there.
Well, I had mentioned something to Joe anyways. We'll talk offline, but yeah, there's some ideas swirling through the ether for sure.
The maple
Yes.
ether,
Get the crew together.
the gravy.
To circle back quickly to maple syrup, I don't want to appear as though I'm some sort of sneering snob because it's not my thing, and I do have fond memories of being a kid with not a lot of dough laying around and doing the grocery store imitation syrup and loving it because you're not going to sit there with your pinky stuck out. You're just a kid. You just want the sugar, right? So
Yes.
it's a nostalgia taste, right? That product. So
Another energy drink that I used to drink a lot as a teenager was Balls.
Yeah, we
hate
talked
that.
about balls. That's the root
Yeah.
beer.
I
root
think
beer
I've
one.
heard that before.
What was the horrible? Oh man, I remember when this first came out. It was the first of its kind. It looked like a battery. It was malt liquor with energy drink.
Four Loko.
No, not Four Loko. I know Four Loko well, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what you're talking
You know
about.
what I mean? It was like orange.
Yeah,
it was
the
like
cap-
orange and
There
silver.
was a twist off cap that was like the top of the battery.
Where we had it, it was
Mm.
cans, but I'm sure there was a twist off too. And oh, it was horrible. It was like orange, and it was basically like Old English and orange energy drink put together. Oh
Yeah,
my-
but that's a orange juice and a 40 is a brass monkey.
that's a brass monkey.
Yeah.
But this was like when energy drinks became a thing. This was like after Jolt and before Monster. Oh, what was the
The Dark Ages.
Yeah, the Dark
Dark
Ages.
Ages.
Dude,
Sparks. It was
Sparks.
Sparks.
Oh, yeah.
Remember Sparks?
Yeah. We
Oh,
got
I projectiled that many times.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god. I don't even want to drink this. It's so disgusting, but I have to.
What, the ginger beer?
The ginger beer, Joey.
Oh, I'm loving my ginger beer.
All right, so
I'm
now that we
loving
got
the
everybody
biscuit
all
pineapple.
warm and so okay, so what else we got? Jared, what's your soda pop of choice you got?
Well, let's start by saying I put maple syrup in my coffee.
I think I've heard of that before. That sounds
Uh,
that could be good.
I grew up. My grandparents had a dairy farm, and they actually made maple syrup.
Nice.
So we always had maple syrup.
Very cool.
The other thing we always had was this stuff my grandpa used to put on his pancakes that I think they just called it like syrup, but it was like thick.
Molasses, like molasses syrup.
It was
kinda?
kind of like that, but I think it was just corn syrup.
Ugh.
Oh
It
yeah,
was like
yeah.
really,
like
yeah.
cake, like Caro syrup or something like that. Like
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah,
We always
'Cause-
had that too.
Because
Did
that
you ever
comes in
go,
light
Jared,
and
and-
dark.
yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever,
Uh,
Jared, and take the bucket off the tree and just drink right out of the bucket? The sap
I've-
right out
I've-
of the bucket.
I've dipped my finger in it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
The
the
sap,
sweet-
the
that
sap
takes
is
a-
better than the finished product, in my opinion.
It's quite
Yeah, I
a
could-
process.
I could agree with that.
It's
Yeah.
quite a process.
I saw the process happen once because that happened on a different farm. But
You got to boil it, and you have to filter
yeah.
it through a cheesecloth and all. Yeah, we got a lot
yeah,
of
it's
people
pretty
that
nuts.
tapping trees up here. I've been doing. What have I tell you? I do like a spoonful of blackstrap molasses every day. I've been doing
Yeah, that's good for iron.
Yeah, yeah,
Like literally, I was taking this liquid iron supplement,
yeah.
and
How is this a conversation right now?
'cause
Listen,
we're
you
getting
wanna
we're
be
getting to my
on
I'm
Facebook?
just
we're getting to my
saying.
we're getting to my soda.
Blackstrap molasses.
Yeah, like the
Every
85.
morning-
We
every
gotta stop
morning I
inviting
take my
85-year-olds.
I need to put some context behind it when I get to my because it's not really soda. But
Supplements.
yeah, so taking this iron stuff, and I'm like, this tastes like familiar, but I can't put my literally orange juice and molasses. So don't take iron supplements, kids. Just eat molasses.
Blackstrap molasses.
Yeah.
Right from the jug.
Injected straight into your veins.
Yeah, mainline blackstrap molasses. Holy Royale told you. Go ahead, kids.
Ginger beer tastes weird.
What is the Skunkworks wants to know what's the best cure for gout?
Oh, Epsom
Tart.
salt. I don't know.
Epsom salts.
Tart cherry juice.
Yeah, I think you're right.
For real.
Oh boy.
I get gout.
Yeah, yeah,
I get all kinds of shit, and that's why I have to watch my sugar,
yeah.
which is why I don't really drink a lot of soda. So I make my own.
There you go.
I'm the seltzer guy.
That's
For your
cool.
health.
So
Salud.
I put like a quarter cup of juice in the cup, and then seltzer, and that's my soda.
I got one of those seltzer machines upstairs. I use that thing every day. I love it.
Yeah,
Lord Gatewood said he's got the gout too, brother.
yeah, tart cherry juice. It breaks up the whatever the crystals are called.
The uric acid crystals.
That's the one.
Yeah, you would
I'm
know.
also a doctor. Dr. Joseph Royale.
Esquire.
Back in my day when the gray wasn't coming in and stuff, I drank a lot of Jolt.
Yeah,
And I think
that was a special thing.
Did some permanent damage, I think.
Remember when Jolt was like hard to find, when it was kind of like contraband? It was like
Mhm.
exciting at a
Yeah.
sleepover when somebody busted out the Jolt when you were 12.
Yeah,
Hey,
I,
we couldn't.
You sure you want to do that?
There was a while we couldn't get it here in Lancaster, and we had to go to Philly to get it.
Yeah.
my dad took us to the convenience store, and we got to pick something out, and he wasn't paying attention because he's a dad, and dads don't pay attention to what your kids are buying, And I got a Jolt, and when I brought it home, my mom freaked out, and I had to drink it like watered down. And it was like the worst soda I've ever had in my life.
Do you guys remember Surge? That was something.
Oh,
that
yeah.
They
Was,
still
Yeah.
make Surge, don't they?
yeah, they brought it back.
I got it at the dollar store. It still tasted like the original.
It's like battery acid.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think I've ever had that. Surge.
It's like it's like Mountain Dewish.
Yeah, Mountain Dew, Mellow Yellow,
Oh, okay. I know.
Surge.
Yeah, I know what you're
Mhm.
talking
It was
about.
Mellow
like,
Yellow. There's a great
I probably
one.
have had it
Yeah.
then. Yeah.
I remember when they announced they were going to discontinue Surge, my brothers and I had gotten really into drinking it. So my dad, who normally was not very permissive of this kind of thing, I managed somehow to talk him into going to the grocery store and buying everything they had left.
Oh my God.
So we had flats of
How you do
Surge
it.
stacked up in a closet for months afterward. And I was rationing it slowly. I'm like, I'm never going to have this again. I'm never going to have this again.
Got through it all though.
Yeah.
Oh,
so-
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember Jolt. Like there was stuff on the news about Jolt. It's like the satanic panic of soda.
Yeah, totally. That should have been their tagline.
Yeah, that would be a great tagline. The satanic panic. That they would do even better.
Yeah.
But yeah, Four Loco. We did have Four Loco before they
Yeah.
watered it down. and
I
did
just
whatever they
watched
did,
a
but
documentary on Four Loco the other day.
There was a documentary on it.
Well, like a YouTube documentary.
Wow.
It was good though.
There was another one, alcoholic one called Cocaine. I remember too. that
Yes.
There was rumors that it was killing people.
Yeah.
People
yeah.
were like slamming down 4 cans of it and having heart attacks.
Man.
Mm,
Yikes.
mm, mm.
How do y'all feel about cream soda?
I like
I
cream
love it.
soda.
Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
My other soda is
there you go.
actually-
Zach's got some cream. This is
Yeah.
a red cream soda.
I
Now,
don't.
I've heard of red cream soda before, and I wonder where that tradition comes from. But a cream soda, Jared, is probably like an A&W cream. That's a nice one. That's right off the shelf. You don't see
A&W.
that as much.
Yeah. Do you have an A&W by you, like an old school one?
No, we had one in the 60s.
Oh, yeah.
my parents tell me about the. I should put this into context because yes, in addition to being 4 feet tall, Brian, I was also born in 1949.
Yeah.
So, no, there was an A&W in town. The last one I went to, I think there was one in Cape. I think there is one in Cape Cod, but we don't have any local ones.
They we still have one down. I sent you pictures of it, and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
get they don't put ice in the root beer. It comes like straight.
It's
And
supposed to
'cause
be on tap.
it's on tap, but like if you're in the restaurant, it's a chilled mug. No,
It's a
no
chilled
ice.
mug, and I think it's chilled tubes like the.
Yeah, the tubes are chilled as well.
I mean, because back in the day, you'd have to go to the place. My father used to tell me this. You'd go there and you get a fill up of A&W. You don't go to the store and buy
Mhm.
A&W freely, like in 2-liter bottles. Like that was like a thing. You got to go to the A&W store to get A&W.
Yeah, it's like milk back in the day.
So I wanted to bring this up too on the subject of milk. I've never done this. Have you ever heard of people mixing milk with Pepsi?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, Laverne from
Yeah.
Laverne and Shirley. Did
Laverne
that,
and
right?
Shirley. Have
Yeah.
any of you tried this?
No.
No.
No,
I don't think I've ever tried it. No.
Mark?
I will not do dairy with a carbonated beverage. That sounds gross.
Well, what about an ice cream float?
Oh yeah, I guess you're right.
You know,
Damn.
that's what
So
I'm
there's
thinking
a-
because they sounded disgusting to me. But then I started thinking about, well, I love a good A&W float.
So I wonder if it's akin to a melted root beer float.
That's
What
I'm
about
thinking.
eggnog and Coke?
No, I've never
I
tried.
think
Jeez.
you're comparing chicken eggs to ostrich eggs here. I think just because there seems to be some sort of correlation that it should work, I'm very skeptical of the milk. It sounds
You came out to the worst episode. If you're skeptical about Coke and milk, wait till we get to the heavy stuff, brother.
I gotta work tomorrow. I gotta sleep tonight, Brian. Don't freak me out too much.
Fair enough.
An old Milwaukee float.
I don't know. Is this going to be just the freaking soda
Milwaukee
episode?
That sounds like beer. Old
That is
Milwaukee
beer. Old Milwaukee is beer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. I've had a beer float in
You're nice.
old
Beer?
Paso, old El Paso.
Really?
Yeah, it was disgusting. It was what's that one? What's that beer? It's like I can't remember what it's called. I don't drink anymore, so I don't remember. It's like really thick.
Stout.
Yeah, it's like
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I've heard of that. Stout things. All right.
So like, but what? No,
Stout, yeah.
what's the? It's like thick Guinness.
You're thinking of Guinness.
Yeah,
I am.
Guinness.
I've had a
Yep.
Guinness. I've had a Guinness float.
They also have Guinness Stout, which I can't stand. I love regular Guinness, but a Guinness Stout, no
The
thank
stout's good. The extra, I like that syrupy Guinness. It's called, I think it's called extra stout. Like
Yeah,
you.
extra.
Yeah.
Because there's a weird Canadian version made by Labatt that's just called Guinness Stout, which is sort of similar. It's really I like it. Like it's I got some in Clayton when we were there. They had some, so I
If you like the thick, like stout porter dark beers, try and get your hands on. I think it's called Oscar Blues Brewery, and the beer is called 1050. I think because that's the alcohol content, but the stuff's like motor oil. It's
it's
so good,
also
though.
like motor oil. Blackstrap molasses.
Yes.
Yeah, you're like
And we're back.
They're,
You're like
they're
on one
very
of those,
similar.
it's like an old '40s radio where they like implement the.
Lipton tea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, when I'm
Blackstrap Molasses sounds like the former AWA World Television Champion or something.
Absolutely. I do that. That would be a good
Blackstrap
alter ego.
Molasses takes on the Junkyard Dog.
It's just like a Led Zeppelin song or something.
So that's it then for sodas, right, Jeremy? Did you did yours? You got a.
I got a ginger beer. as
Oh,
well.
that's right. You got the ginger beer.
Mhm.
So then let's hit it. Who's?
On to the crypto.
Let's go.
Hold
Let's.
on, we gotta do this.
What?
East of the Rockies,
Oh.
from the land of Nod. Welcome
Yes.
to Coast, Neon Lords edition.
I mean,
Ladies.
Spot on.
we'll take ghost stories too, though. I thought about
Yeah.
too.
Dim
Well,
the
we'll wait
lights.
till after Garrett goes to sleep.
For the ghost stories.
So
Wait, yeah, let's go.
we're gonna get weird here.
I want Jeremy. He's new. He's new to the stream. This is his first time on. Everyone else has been on a Neon Lords thing, one or the other. So, initiation. Let's get that cryptid. I want to hear this, especially out there. It's going to be different than what we're used to.
Jeremy's coming from.
So I live in Oklahoma, have for the last 4 years, originally from California, and I was actually doing some research prior to this and found that both states, the most popular cryptid is the same. Bigfoot,
Ah,
the most popular cryptid in both states.
really?
I thought was a little bit disappointing.
I kind of
but,
thought would have been like skinwalkers or something.
No, both states, it's Bigfoot.
Hmm.
And yeah, there's Bigfoot related stuff, all over California and Oklahoma. So I was a little disappointed. I was hoping that one state or the other would give me something, new and juicy and exciting, but it's mostly Bigfoot and then stuff that I couldn't find a whole lot of information on. And everybody kind of already knows their Bigfoot lore.
Have you
That's
met
good.
anybody who has experienced a Bigfoot?
I've never.
No. I've known people who believe in Bigfoot, but not based on any experiences they had, just based on, seeing the evidence, meaning they watch a lot of shows on the History Channel.
Well, the big Bigfoot evidence that I always go to is the Survivor Man. Les Stroud has audio.
Great show. Great show.
Audio. Well, no, does he have audio? I think he has audio and he has stories. His accounts, because he's the guy that takes the camera. It's not like Bear Grylls where he's got the camera crew with him. Les Stroud goes out there with the equipment in the middle of the woods alone and does it all. And he has, like, he didn't say it was Bigfoot, but like just stories of noises in the woods and that he could not explain what they were. I believe he is a fellow Canadian as well, is he not?
He is, yeah. He is, yeah. And I've heard those accounts. And it's funny, right? Because Bigfoot stuff, it's always sort of a question of credibility, right? A lot of the people that you see on the History Channel or Netflix special or whatever, they don't inspire credibility. However, Stroud is like, you know, he whether it's deserved or not, he's perceived in like a favorable way, and he does have credibility.
Mhm.
So when someone like that has things to say, you know, and he doesn't need to cash in on Bigfoot money, like he's made, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
his notoriety is tied to like legitimate means. He's only talking about Bigfoot because he has something to say. He's not even really necessarily saying that it exists, but he can explain it. And if there's going to be an outdoorsman who has an idea of what those sounds could be, it would probably be him. There's a lot there, you know, there's not a lot that he has encountered that he can't really explain in the wilderness.
Exactly. That's why I always go to him. Like, yeah, I mean, you could, yeah, 1,000 stories. Like that main Bigfoot footage has been proven fake.
Yep.
Like they've come out.
Wait, which has been proven fake?
Like the was in the 70s. Like the
Patterson
Henderson
Gimlin
guy.
film?
yeah.
Or,
Yeah,
Right.
the classic one. The classic one.
The Patterson Gimlin film has not been disproven.
Is that?
Although
Are you
Bob
sure?
Patterson, or I don't know, I forget if it was Gimlin or Patterson. You know, they've gone back on their words several times in deathbed confessions.
I
but
think there's some competing factions there that are,
Yeah.
you know, like, yeah.
one of
Interesting.
my favorite pictures of Bigfoot ephemera when I was a kid was the scalp of the abominable snowman that allegedly was held by some Tibetan monks at one of their monasteries, but that turned out to be a facsimile made of goat, I think, like goat skin on something.
I'm
but,
surprised. I thought it would have been when $6 Million Man fought him.
That was Andre. That was Andre the Giant.
I just
That
love
is-
the idea of Bigfoot money.
Yeah.
Like, what
Well,
are you
there's
up to,
that
man?
whole.
Oh,
It's a whole thing
making
though.
that
Like,
Bigfoot money.
well, I mean, like look at like all of those shows because it's like Hunting Bigfoot
Yeah.
or something. Like what History Channel, what they
Yeah.
put out for like shows nowadays.
Oh,
Joey,
yeah,
are you
the guy
saying that
for, like,
Andre the
Bring
Giant
Home
was
the
on an
Woods.
episode of $6 Million Man and he played a Yeti?
Yeah, so there was two, I believe there was 2 episodes that involved bionic Bigfoot. The first one, episode that showed him was with Andre. Andre played the bionic Bigfoot. And then I believe the second appearance was played by Ted. I'm sorry, forget his name. I think it was, was it Lurch or Jaws? It was one of the guys. It was one of the tall people of Hollywood. And I should know. I shouldn't just make a blanket statement like that. But definitely Andre was the original bionic Bigfoot. And then I believe it was Ted Cassidy that may have played Lurch, who played the second one. But yes, it was Ted Cassidy and Andre the Giant played both. Secret of Bigfoot 2 was Andre the Giant. So there's 4 episodes. And the third and fourth was Return of Bigfoot and Bigfoot 5, which was played by Ted Cassidy, also known as Lurch from the original Addams Family.
So, what is the general consensus of what Bigfoot is? Are we talking interdimensional being that slips out of through dimension gates or whatever, or is it just an evolution of the Cro-Magnon man or Neanderthal or whatever? Which one?
Australopithecus.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's things on both. That it's interesting. I'm leaning more towards an interdimensional thing. So the perennial argument against the existence of any cryptoid is always, is there enough of a population for procreation, for reproduction? And first of all, the United States and Canada does have enough undeveloped land to host you know, a population, although probably a dying population, to be able to hide. The other big thing is where are the bones? Where is the corpses? And the argument against that is that they are evolved enough that they bury their own, like humans. But you're always going to have an accident, you know.
Yeah,
But-
essentially, like, how is like nobody hit a Bigfoot with a car?
So
You
what
know?
if there
Like
what if
Harry
there-
and the Hendersons.
Yeah,
right.
yeah, exactly. Well, great movie.
What if there is a population that remains hidden in these areas, and the Bigfoots that are sighted are like outcasts?
Yeah,
or
maybe.
something?
Possibly.
Yeah,
You
they
gotta
could live
keep in mind,
underground.
too. You have to keep in mind also that people only get hit by cars in the city. People don't get hit by cars on country roads, and Bigfoot is not some deer who's going to get smashed
Right.
by a
Also
semi.
true. Yeah.
He's going to, you know, like there's an implied intelligence there that he's actively being stealth, right? In like a proto human kind of smart guy way or whatever.
Or we are just ignorant and consider ourselves so developed and intelligent that we discard the legends that there are such things as legendary creatures, that there are supernatural entities that exist and can appear and disappear at will because our minds can't understand it, and that folkloric traditions are actually rooted in supernatural beings that can manifest and make themselves present throughout the history of man.
Well, on that note, Lord Gatewood said the origin background on Bigfoot. I remember as a kid, a Native American gentleman who used to speak and do demonstrations at our school believed that Sasquatch walked between the spirit world and the regular world as an inherent thing that they just did. Legendary creatures like Thunderbird. Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm talking about, Brian.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Interesting.
Now, something recently I watched that was really cool was it's kind of sensationalist, but it was a movie on a streaming site. I don't know if it was Hulu or Netflix or what. And it was called, it might have been called Sasquatch. But basically it was about a mountain in Washington where there was a big hippie, in Northern California, there was a big rush out there because there was they were growing marijuana up on the side of a mountain, and it became a very dangerous place because people were robbing the fields, and basically a bunch of people went up there to get away from everybody, grow weed in seclusion, and nobody really bothered them. But then people found out about it. There was a murder, but
Yeah. Did you watch a documentary on it?
yes.
Yeah.
I think they made a movie about that. Or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, are
Yeah,
you
it sounds
familiar with this?
familiar.
I'm very familiar with it.
The recordings, the most incredible thing was the recordings from this documentary of not only the tree knocking, which is allegedly a way they communicate. They take branches and hit them against a tree, but the actual screams that they heard in this, and the processing, the audio processing of it, which to this day they still can't kind of match the frequencies to any other known living creature.
All right. I know we were. All right. We're going to go around. Yes or no, Bigfoot exists. Joey.
I believe Bigfoot is a supernatural entity, and I used to believe it was an actual living, breathing, classifiable creature. I'm of the ilk now that it's probably a supernatural manifestation.
Jared.
I subscribe to what's called maybe logic,
Yeah.
and I'm going to say maybe.
All right. Garrett.
Yeah, similarly, I would be sort of Bigfoot agnostic, so I wouldn't be so I wouldn't presume to know. However, I will say that some evidence is convincing, a lot of it isn't, and I would sure love for it to be real.
Jeremy.
You know, I would love it if it was real, but I don't think it is.
Interesting. Zach.
I'm gonna say yes, because I'm gonna go with Joey. When anything is connected to some kind of ancient myth that's been around from
It's
an
been around-
indigenous tribe.
I mean, yeah, it's been around all over the world. There's
Yeah,
everywhere has
so there-
accounts.
there's got to be some truth to it. So I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah, I would go as far as to say that there's something to it.
Yeah,
It's not
Mhm.
just, you know,
interesting. I say yes
all a
as well.
hoax, but
I believe in the big man.
I wouldn't presume to guess what it actually is, though.
Yeah,
One of
and
my
I would agree with that. That there's got to be something
The truth
that
is out
at
there.
least at some point existed. But
Do you guys know the comedian Stuart Lee? He's British.
Mm-mm.
He does a bit where he's like talking about the Loch Ness monster, and he's like, "Now I'm not a biologist or a cryptozoologist or a geologist and he goes through the whole list of ologists, and he's like, but I think, and he's like,
Right.
maybe a
Right.
dinosaur.
One of my favorite Bigfoot kind of tomfoolery is the Minnesota Iceman, which makes his appearance in Tales from Fairhaven, Volume 1, the Fairhaven Iceman. But are you guys familiar with the Minnesota Iceman?
No.
No.
Displayed in traveling sideshows throughout the Midwest in the 1960s and ending up in Minnesota, there was a alleged frozen preserved ape creature, and that was displayed. And the first people that went through the sideshow attraction swore they smelled, rotting flesh and the meat, and they saw, you could see through it. This was clearly a rare thing. The authorities came. There was some sort of tomfoolery, and it was eventually replaced by a latex model because they were afraid that somebody might be charged with murder if they actually did kill this some sort of, this bipedal ape creature. If you've ever got a Mysteries of the Unknown book from the library as a kid, there's a very famous picture of like the thing like this.
I'm sure I've seen it.
So that's one of my favorite kind of cashing in on Bigfoot stories. And did they really have something and they turned it into a hoax to cover up an alleged murder? Who knows?
Oh yeah, it's like the old legend of Foggy Bob,
Froggy Bob. We have something around here called the Albatwitch. It's like a skinny black furred Bigfoot that steals apples, apparently.
Interesting.
An apple stealer, huh?
Oh, little Johnny Appleseed, huh? Well, I'm dying to know what Garrett brought from the Great White North.
So I got to step away for a little bit, but I'll do I was going to ask if I could do mine quickly because I'm sort of piggybacking off of Jeremy. So I was originally thinking, I'm in Ontario, Canada, cryptozoology is more of a down south thing. The only one that seems sort of like geographically relevant to me is like sort of Wendigo, I guess, even though Wendigo is sort of like more east and north. I would probably, like, if I wanted to go find one, I wouldn't walk the streets here. I'd be like booking it up north. But Wendigo, like, unlike Bigfoot, Wendigo is not real, folks. So there are no Wendigos. Perhaps they once roamed the earth, but I don't think Wendigos are a real thing. So I didn't want to go Wendigo. I sort of took some liberties with the Canada thing. I'm going way out west to British Columbia, to the town of Squamish, BC, for to me, is a really resonating Bigfoot sighting video. And I would encourage anybody who wants to watch a really sort of freaky video. Maybe you guys have seen it. I think it was 2015. These guys were hiking in Squamish up in the mountains, and they got to like the top of a peak of where they were hiking, and they're looking across this landscape of just really jagged, inhospitable, like peaks and then snowy valleys. Not a lot of trees or anything, just a very sort of snow blasted wasteland. And they noticed this tiny dot walking in the valley, and he's walking up this steep side of this mountain, basically. And it's moving so deliberately and quickly that it freaks them out because it's moving way too fast to be like a hiker. And this person is in, like, it would take out, like, it seems so unlikely that there would be someone hiking alone down there, because it would be crazy to hike alone anywhere. You know what I mean? You'd want to go out with people. You'd want to have a plan in case something were to go wrong. Anyways, if you Google
I got it.
Squamish,
I'm putting
BC,
I'm putting the link in the chat.
yeah. So, I mean, the video is a dot, right? Like you're not seeing a hairy beast guy. You're seeing a humanoid, rice-shaped thing moving across. But the video is convincing to me, and it's freaky, and it doesn't seem, if it's a hoax, and you can say this about a lot of hoaxes, if it's a hoax, it's very sophisticated, and it's a video like that makes me think, wow, like Bigfoot's just hoofing it on a clear day, because no one's around. He knows no one's around, except that there are people around, and they're videotaping him. So it's a great video. Check it out, and yeah, go Bigfoot.
Yeah, it's pretty
I'm
cool.
looking at it right now. It's incredible. And the comments are a lot about how much distance this thing is covering in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, because
See that's hard to judge, obviously, because it's a lot of perspective, right? Like it's so far away that it would be hard to gauge. But it's a short video, and if you look at where he started and look at where he sort of ended up, and if you look at the surroundings, like there's not a lot. It's a lot of snow and sort of rocks, right? So it's not. I mean, a rock can be the size of my head, or a boulder can be the size of a minivan. It's sort of hard, but based on his size and how quick and how like constant his pace is, I mean, again, it could easily be a hoax. And congratulations to the person that made it, because you've been responsible for tens of thousands of people scratching their head. But I see that, and I wish to believe, just because it's an exciting video to watch.
very interesting.
Thank you for that. That's cool.
They any other Bigfoot?
Well, there actually did exist. Was it called Giganticus Pithecus or something like that?
Gigantopithecus.
Yeah. So there, at one point, I guess prehistoric, there basically was a creature that basically fits the description of Bigfoot.
But what about the Ice Age, Jared?
The Ice Age? What about the Ice Age?
It's that movie with the woolly mammoths and the saber-toothed tigers.
Yeah.
Clearly, a man could not survive.
There's a conspiracy theory for you. Do you think humans existed alongside dinosaurs?
No. Isn't that like, isn't that like just proven science with like carbon dating?
I think so.
Oh God, Jared, don't be going down that hole. It's like like the whole like Smithsonian conspiracy. Well,
Like
that's
the
a whole
hole
nother.
in Antarctica.
Yeah. Oh well, we're gonna get to that.
All right.
I got evidence. I got proof of that.
I got to step away for a few minutes, fellas, but I'll be right back. Keep my spot, please.
Yep, you're
All
good,
right.
Jared.
Thank you.
Or Garrett.
Thanks
See
for
you
that
soon,
video.
Huh?
I said thank you for that video.
Oh yeah. So
The way that it strode across like the mountain was like that's unreal.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Bigfoot. Why wouldn't there be a Bigfoot? Even if it like, because I know like the man geek, David from the library in the chat said like great American or great North American ape. Why? Okay, like that's plausible. Why not? Like Canada is so vastly large with like unoccupied space. Who's to say?
But
Unexplored territory.
Yeah.
the argument is that apes, in their in their scientific nature, are social creatures. This would break away from all
Yeah, that makes sense.
observed sociological kind of knowledge about them, that they exist in communities. There's a hierarchy. This thing is for all intents and purposes, and in most reports, they are alone. They are not, working together in teams.
Right.
But Jeremy did, I think it was you, Jeremy, that brought up the fact that what if it's an outcast? What if it's a shunned member of the community?
Yeah.
So actually, they're talking about werewolves a lot. So I'm going to bring something up. You ever
In the
heard of
chat,
the wolves of Palmyra?
Yeah, I have.
The family in Maine, Palmyra,
Yes.
Maine,
Yes.
was
Yes.
terrorized by a pack
Yes.
of werewolves. But then
Yeah.
that was like in the 90s. So like
Mhm.
they were
Yeah.
very alive and showed the house ripped to shreds.
Yes. I've seen the damage in pictures.
Insane story.
I've
like-
never heard of that.
Oh my god! Like the werewolves, like so. It's like the wife was out. I don't think the husband was home yet.
Oh, I got the chills on
I
this.
thought we have a
Yeah.
Palmyra around here.
I
thought
just
that's
we
did
have a-
too.
Palmyra.
we have
I
a-
just did too.
We have
I'm not gonna
we have a
lie.
Palmyra in New York as well, up by the where they signed. I don't remember where it is. It's up north-ish. I'm up north. I'm higher north. It's north of Rochester. Anyway, so or somewhere over there, Buffalo area, whatever. Yeah. So Palmyra, Maine. I want to say the wife maybe taking a dog. See, I'm paraphrasing it. I haven't really listened or talked about it or researched it in a while. So if I'm wrong, chat will let me know. I'm sure. So she was like taking a dog out or something, and then she noticed in the wood line, because they're out in the middle of Maine and stuff, like kind of like a giant wolf like thing, kind of hunched over, getting closer. Then she knows there's more behind that one, getting closer to the house, and she gets the dog, goes in, and then these they need to start a full sprint, these werewolves, to the house, and just start stalking them, essentially, going up to the upstairs, looking in the windows and stuff. And I want to say the husband eventually made it home, or he was inside and they tried to get to the car. I don't know. It's a whole. See, I didn't want to. I shouldn't have brought it up because I don't know the full details.
No, I want to check it out.
Yeah,
There's a paranormal witness episode about it that was pretty cool. But this was over the span of of time. It wasn't just an isolated incident. They were climbing on the roof. There's scratch marks in the the siding of the house and around the doors and all that. And I think it was reported they were attacked by 5 of them. It started. They were out. I think there was a big field, a big lawn, huge field, almost like farm area or the wild. And they started to just gather around the border, and they got closer and closer. And yeah, there's scratch evidence all over the house that it happened.
Man, can you imagine going out on your porch on a misty summer morning, and you're just looking at the tree line of your property, and you see something like that standing
the
up?
worst part is that they remind me of Dog Soldiers. You ever see that movie?
Yeah.
Such a good movie. It's
those,
such a good movie.
those are the werewolves I think about when they. So the guy I watch, Mr. Ballin, I'm gonna put his on there because he's the best YouTuber.
I mean, have you ever just seen a wolf compared to say a German Shepherd or something?
It's
They're
so big.
fucking huge,
huge.
dude.
Yeah, but have you ever seen so in Harvard there is they have a taxidermy museum on the campus, and
Oh, they have a
can go to.
dire wolf.
Yeah, they have a stuffed
No
dire
shit.
wolf, and
Wow.
that thing, if you puts all regular wolves to shame. That is
Yeah,
well, that's the dog soldier on all fours. That thing, I mean, it came up to here on me. It was massive. So
Imagine that being bipedal.
yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So yeah. So who knows? So what could that be? Skinwalkers.
Oh yeah, that one. Skinwalkers. Here's something that I've always thought about with skinwalkers and shapeshifters. there's a reason that humans have that feeling, like uncanny valley feeling.
Mm.
Why do we get a feeling that we get uneasy when we look at something that is supposed to look like us, but it's not? And like I've always had this weird theory that maybe that was something we evolved, a feeling we evolved to warn us from some of these things that might look like us, but they really aren't us.
Interesting. Yeah.
Good idea.
Can I share mine?
Absolutely.
My conspiracy and my crypto are kind of wrapped up together in the same bundle. So my thing that I wanted to share tonight is a somewhat local thing. I used to work on the Long Island ferry that goes from New London, Connecticut to Orient Point, Long Island, which is the North Fork of Long Island.
You getting into Montauk Monster?
I am.
That was mine too.
Is it really?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
right.
our state's border, so you might as well just. That's my cryptid too. So let's do it.
Montauk is so the what my conspiracy. Okay, so the Montauk monster was a bloated, partially decomposed mammalian creature that washed up on the shores of Montauk, Long Island, around 2008, I believe.
It is 2008. You are 100% correct.
The picture was taken by a young woman,
Jenna
Jenna Hewitt, who was walking the beach with a couple of friends, smelt something, took a picture of this thing, only 2 pictures. It was almost immediately gone. By the time people tried to investigate, nobody could find the corpse. Some people thought that it was buried. There's a couple people who claim to have buried it, but long story short, they've never been able to find the body and, do any kind of tissue samples or anything like that. This thing is strange in that, so the common explanation for it is that it's a decomposed raccoon, and that given the positioning of the pictures, there's about 3 or 4 pictures of it from different angles, that it was a decomposed raccoon. There's a beak-looking aspect to the skull, to the snout, but that could just have been that. I've read that the way animals like this can decompose in the water is from all the waves and all that it starts at the snout where there wasn't a lot of tissue, which just is like it's just the jaws, the maxilla and mandible of the is exposed, the bone, and the rest is just the rest of the decomp. So long story short, many people now think it's a raccoon, but there's still some things that don't add up 100% that it would be a raccoon. Some people thought it was like there could have been some kind of shell to it. There is, in the picture, it looks like there's like a leather strap around its arm, but that could just also be tissue as well. But so there's that end of it. That's the Montauk monster. But go one step further. Soon after that, another one washed up in my town at the beach we used to go to, called Ocean Beach. I was not living in town at the time. Oh, yes, I was, but it wasn't really reported heavily. It wasn't in the newspaper, but it was called the clap saddle carcass. And there's not a lot on it online, but if you look up Montauk monster and clap saddle, you'll get some evidence. And there is a picture of that one. It looks a little different, but that similar decomp around the beak. I used to tutor a kid who was a clap saddle, who was related to the person that found it. They found it at Ocean Beach in New London. Like I said, that's the beach that we all went to growing up. I still go down to the arcade there all the time. But this is where the conspiracy comes in. So, and some people claim that the original Montauk monster was a viral marketing campaign for an energy drink or a soft drink or something like that. Couldn't find too much more information about that. But Brian, fill in the pieces if I've missed anything.
You're it all together with the sodas.
Well, first of all,
wow.
is Clap Saddle? That's a Connecticut last name.
That's the kid's name. Yeah.
You nutmeggers and your weird last names, I swear.
Nice kid. But for the conspiracy aspect of it, comes from my time. Well, we all grew up with this boogeyman right off the coast, and I would pass this. That's why I brought up the ferry. I would pass this en route to Long Island. It is called Plum Island,
Mhm.
which growing up around here, it might as well have been the Isle of Dr. Moreau.
Mhm. It is though.
Pretty much.
I mean,
So
yeah.
in 1952, the United States Army, the department, I wrote it down. I forget.
So Department of Homeland Security owns it now.
Owns it now. It was like the Army chemical engineers had it for a while in 1952. In 1954, the USDA took it over, and they did anti-animal biowarfare testing there. So not necessarily to kill humans, but experiments to destroy crops and livestock, and how to prevent these things. So this is, at the tail end of well, not the tail end, but Cold War and all through that, they were doing a lot of anti-animal biological testing there. There is a debunked conspiracy that Lyme disease started there, which is not the case because of these explored Lyme. And Old Lyme is like the town next to me. Lyme is the town next to me. But they've done enough kind of forensic biology to realize that Lyme disease has been in existence far before the establishment of Plum Island as a biowarfare lab. But it's so secretive, and there's been, I guess the U.S. claimed there was no biowarfare stuff done there, and they found evidence that there was, and I guess the government finally stepped up and said, yes, we did do some testing there. They've they found kind of some cures to foot and mouth disease and African swine flu. So they've done some good work there, but there's always the level of secrecy has bred a lot of conspiracies about what's going on there. Human animal hybrids, anthrax testing. They people claim anthrax was made there. It's like a no-fly zone. They do patrols all the time. You really can't get through it in a boat. My wife's best friend, her mom was a nurse out there. She's coming over tomorrow, so I have a lot of questions to ask her about her mom's stories. But I know that the scientists that worked out of there, you have to quarantine, you have to take 1 million showers. But the story that was always told to me by one of the guys I worked on the ferry with, because he had a friend in the Army or the Air Force over there, somewhere stationed by that deer are pretty good swimmers, that the deer would attempt to swim across the Long Island Sound from Plum Island to Orient Point, and that the Army helicopters would come by and kill these things with machine guns from the helicopters, so they wouldn't make it to shore alive and spread whatever is going on over at Plum Island. So Plum Island has always been a weird spot. It's slated for sale in 2023. It's a pretty contested sale. People want to, because nobody lives there really. It's just a lab. So there's like a lot of wildlife out there that's been protected, and it's like an oasis, I guess, out there. But they don't want people to develop.
You've heard it here, folks. The location of the first ever neon con is at
Absolutely
Plum Island.
Plum Island.
It's funny. That would make sense. I've been looking. So a long time ago, this is absolutely nothing to do with any of this. I was looking at like a news article. I think it was Vice magazine at the time. They did an article on you could go bear hunting in Chernobyl and shoot like a 2-headed bear. And like I've been looking for it to talk about this article forever, and I can't find it. That would be the second place for Neon Con 2. We're going to Chernobyl, baby.
Nice.
I'm almost
so
done.
that's oh wow, Skunkworks says one of the roads on the island is named Animal Disease Drive.
Yeah,
Animal
so
Disease
yeah,
Drive.
Plum Island, is the island of Dr. Moreau. Oh, there's my sister's gonna jump on.
Ooh,
I know everyone's quiet now.
we have to behave.
No, you're fine. So Plum Island, huge controversy on the Montauk Monster. I was kind of upset you didn't bring up Dudleytown.
Well, I will bring up Dudleytown when I experience Dudleytown.
Yeah, we got to go to Dudleytown. But like that's the whole thing. Like New England itself is just weird in its own right. A bunch of wild, like weird stuff. Like, cause you got, oh, she like
Dudleytown is one of the most interesting things that I like to look into, and I don't consider myself an expert. I've done a lot of reading on it, but I've never been there. Connecticut's a small state, and Dudleytown is one of the biggest paranormal things that we have around here. Basically, it's an abandoned town from the early 1800s that there's only foundations left, but everybody who visits, and there's a bunch of legends about what happened to the people there. But basically it's a cursed town, and people that visit there, there's no animal sounds. They have time loss. They're pushed around by invisible entities and all that stuff.
Man.
And then one more Connecticut tale as everybody's logging on.
Who are these people?
Not too far away from me is Devil's Hop Yard, which is a state park.
Ahoy there, mateys. My name's Billy James, and it is nice to meet y'all. What are your names?
Hello, who is this?
Jared.
Blackstrap molasses.
I fucking hate this class. You're so fucking stupid, lady. Shut the fuck up for the love of God. Please
All
do
right,
us
so
all
we've
a
got a
fucking favor
soundboard.
here and shut
Yeah.
the fuck up.
Oh, I thought it was my sister. Usually she talked about going on, but we got a couple comedians in the audience again, huh?
So we got oh great.
Nothing like a good old
Wonderful.
Bart soundboard.
Over here,
So what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So you can look this one up. Devil's Hop Yard. Allegedly, there was 3 guys practicing karate in
Excellent.
Devil's Hop Yard. And there's a bunch of theories as why this place is called Devil's Hop Yard. There's all sorts of, but these 3 guys were practicing karate or doing ninja stuff, and allegedly a demon appeared and attacked him. And I'm going to send a link to the article. And I gotta say, I love it when people bomb. That's really great. This is like a real life public access show.
Yeah. Oh my god! And then you ever see the? I think I talk about it every time the Star Trek public access show that people call into.
Oh,
that
yeah,
and then just obliterate that poor guy.
Did you ever watch these guys that hunt polar bears?
No.
You're not allowed to use a rifle. You got to hire a guide, and they dig this giant hole in the ice and chop up a seal and throw the seal parts in.
Oh my god.
Say the polar bears can smell it from like 3 miles away, and you just sit and wait. They make their way up to the edge, and then you just run up and kick them in the ice hole.
On that note, I'm gonna crack open $1 million orange to get this ginger beer out of my mouth. That was...
I just posted a link to the article. I'm sorry, it was 5 karate practitioners that were allegedly attacked by a demon, and I believe they were all arrested for trespassing.
You know what? That sounds vaguely familiar.
And drug possession.
Yeah.
Yeah, magically, right?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that is $1 million orange if I've ever tasted one.
Boy, nothing beats a good orange soda.
This is
What
pure
does $1
cane.
million worth of orange taste like?
It's a $5 shake. That's what I tell you right now.
Tastes like the sun or something.
I like a good orange cream soda too. Jeremy, I think you brought that up before.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Yeah.
So-
you're not even gonna hit Dudleytown. We're just gonna.
No, I just said briefly. I don't know much. I mean, it's just a strange place where there's a lot of unexplained.
Let me
things.
paint you a picture.
Yeah.
1774. No, I'm just kidding. I know a little bit. I don't know like names and dates. It was cursed. The Dudleys came across the sea, and they were cursed. Like I
The
want to
Dudley
say,
boys.
Yeah.
yeah, right.
Devon.
Yeah, they were cursed prior to coming to the United States, and the settlement, the Dudleytown settlement, was supposedly a hotbed for demon activity, where it ran the whole town out, and then a doctor from New York City bought it, took his family out there, and then he left his wife alone in Dudleytown, came back to the city for an emergency, and when he came back, she was catatonic, like insane. Like he doesn't know what happened between like that time, but then like now you go and it's it's a ghost town in the middle of, I want to say it's in the Berkshires, isn't it?
Dudleytown?
Yeah. The Berkshire Mountains hit Connecticut at all?
I don't think so.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking something else then. So, yeah, so it's in Connecticut somewhere. I think closer to me though, right?
It's in Litchfield County. So yeah, it's like that's like northwestern
Yeah, it's
Connecticut.
like,
So yes, that would be closer to you.
yeah. Now essentially it's just like
Right there in the name.
foundations, huh?
Litchfield.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
right.
was just gonna say that.
But the rumor is, yeah, you can hear things, and like the animals go silent. Like there's, it's like dead there all the time, and wild stuff
was-
happens.
So obsessed with it, I wrote a song about it. And in the chat, I'm posting a young Joey Royale when I was a musician singing the song I wrote, Dudleytown, with my band, the Royale Brothers.
You're
Excellent.
still a musician,
nice.
Joey.
I'm still a musician, yes.
Yeah. All right.
Do we have David from the library?
I hope it's David from the library, unless someone, if we got another
It's just
jokester.
fart noises.
I mean, either
You
way.
know, if you're gonna
Hello,
break
David.
into a Zoom, rather I would do something a little bit better than a pirate soundboard.
It was. I mean, it was a good effort. I'm happy with
was.
it.
I get it. I give him a C plus.
Yeah.
Let's do a 30-second ad break here and pay some bills.
Okay.
So all you neon maniacs out there, I got the brand new Black Rainbow 3D.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
I
it
disappeared.
disappeared.
Cloaking device.
That's how 3D it is.
So can't really show it, but go to blackrainbow.com, BLK, RNBW.com.
Any
Grab
chance
your Neon Lords.
those
3D
will
shirt.
ever be printed on black T-shirts?
I don't know. I don't know if, because it is not only is it 3D, it also glows in the dark. So I don't.
Alright,
I know
yeah.
like black, you can print glow in the dark on black shirts. I do
Yeah.
not know what the criteria for the 3D is. If that is
Are-
why he picks the white shirts for it,
I
because
really want one, but I'm a slob. I'm bad.
yeah,
at
I'm not a white T-shirt guy.
black.
I have one. I should have probably worn mine too.
It'll
See,
be ruined like the third time. I wear
Yeah.
it, for sure.
I'm still waiting for mine in the mail.
I'll double check and see what the 3X's, what the status is on them.
Yeah, I gotta get a fat boy size. So
They're pretty loose fit.
This is a 3X. It's a little big, but
Oh,
I
there you
think
go.
the
There's a
2X,
3X.
Nice.
would have been a
like-
little. I have a few other 2X of his. It's a different shirt though. It's a ringer, right? So like the construction's a little bit different, and I do sort of like the 3X for this one for me. But
I like swimming in my clothes.
my fat gut may differ from yours. So who's to say?
Probably not that much. I don't know.
But yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is David from the library. He said it's wonky. It's being wonky for him. He's trying again. Hopefully, and now it's probably someone else with the name Dave, like faking us with a David name.
So who's got another conspiracy?
I mean, I got conspiracies for days.
Yeah.
But let's go. Who's got another one?
I didn't do my cryptid yet.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Zach, do your cryptid.
Yeah.
So I don't know. This is not really much of a cryptid, and it's not super believable, but it is local to Pennsylvania. It is called the squonk.
Yeah, I've heard of this. I've heard of this one.
Yeah, I'm sure Jared already heard
The
of
what?
it.
Sorry.
It's called the squonk.
Not squanch.
Squonk.
Would you spell it SQUANK?
I will. Hold on. Let me.
Sounds like something
Post
we
it
would
to
make up in a game.
Yeah, it really does. SQUONK. Yep.
Okay.
So the squonk, Lacrymocorpus dissolvinus, apparently it has a designation, is a folkloric creature and fearsome critter reputed to live in the hemlock forests of northern Pennsylvania. Legends of the squonks originated in the late 19th century at the height of Pennsylvania's importance of the timber and hunting industry. And I'm not going to get super into what it is, but basically it's a warthog that has too much skin on it and it cries all the time because it hates itself.
Interesting.
Wow.
And if you capture it, it will dissolve into tears. It's a very depressing folklorish creature. And it was first put into a book in the early 19th century by a guy that was writing about local legends and creatures of the lumber woods at that time during the big boom of the lumber industry in the hemlock forests in northern Pennsylvania.
So if you're in the middle of the state, you're like Appalachia territory, right?
Yes, yep, that's where I'm
there's
at.
all kinds of crazy shit.
Oh yeah, but the other cryptid stuff that I had is I figured out, we were talking about werewolves a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania has an abnormally large amount of werewolf legends. I have one near me in the county that I live in called the Werewolf of Schwaben Valley. That was pretty cool, but I couldn't find a lot of information on it. But yeah, it's just lots and lots of werewolves in Pennsylvania. Apparently.
Wonder why.
I mean, throughout history, dog people, man. Like, there's lycanthropy, and then there's dog people, like the Beast of Bray Road. Every state has some sort of dog person thing. It's another thing. Like, it's pervasive. Why is it?
Oh,
Yeah.
Dice Station Zebra said the squonk is referenced in a Steely Dan song, and I do believe that Genesis wrote a song about it as well.
Huh.
Wow. And they're Brits. All right.
Yeah.
I gotta look this guy up. Boy, the poor thing. This is a pretty depressing cryptid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's extremely sad, but that's what it's like to live in Pennsylvania. So whatever.
When I was kind of just fiddling around with the idea of cryptids per your area, I was looking at like by state, the most popular cryptid by state, and on one of the lists, New Mexico or Arizona had Spring-heeled Jack listed. I didn't know there was Spring-heeled Jack sightings outside of England.
Yeah.
But that's not a cryptid, as far as I'm concerned. Is everyone familiar with the amazing?
Oh,
That wasn't just England. That's London specifically, isn't it?
Right.
Is it? I thought there was some that were like in the countryside. There was like the girls.
Go ahead, sorry.
One of the girls. I feel like the one with the guy had the Wolverine fingers. Spring-heeled Jack one. I thought wasn't in London proper, but I could be wrong.
It's been a while since I've read that one.
I don't know anything about Spring-heeled Jack. So
oh
fill
my
me
god!
in.
Spring-heeled
cool.
Jack is the 1800s like Batman, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like this, so nobody knows if it's one person.
Nasty Batman.
Yeah. He was like a bad guy. So like so like essentially it was somebody. It's hard to explain. So let's see if I can get.
So he's like Conrad Kurz, the Night Haunter of the 18th century.
Yeah, totally.
Some people thought he was a ghost.
Jack the Ripper and Conrad Kurz sort of.
Well, he would
so Spring-heeled Jack was
roofs and disappear.
Sometimes, but one of them breathed fire.
Yeah.
Too. So Spring-heeled Jack was described by people who claim to have seen him as having a terrifying and frightful appearance with diabolical word I can't I don't know, looks like a lion face, clawed hands and eyes that resembled red balls of fire. One report claimed that beneath the black cloak he wore a helmet and a tight-fitting white garment like an oil skin. Many stories also mention a devil-like aspect. Others said he was tall and thin with the appearance of a gentleman. Several reports mentioned that he could breathe out blue and white flames and that he wore sharp metallic claws on his fingertips. At least people claimed he was able to speak comprehensible English. So essentially, this guy would terrorize people via means of claws or fire, and then he would literally like jump away, like over like hedges and over walls and stuff. So they thought he had like some kind of like mechanism in his boots to spring heal. I don't know, like it's very
When I-
Kind of like
when
the
we're
the
talking
Red
about-
Baron in the Scooby Doo cartoon, how he was like bouncing all over the place.
I have no idea.
If we're talking about Victorian England era cryptids, I would say you could chalk up a lot of it to exhaustion, alcoholism, lamp oil burning indoors, and I don't know,
consumption.
arsenic in
Yeah.
your makeup, and then
Yeah.
you see a crazy guy breathing fire with red eyes.
Well, thanks. I appreciate
If you look at the Wikipedia for Spring Heel Jack, though, it's pretty incredible the detail that went into the reporting of these cases.
yeah, insane stuff.
Hmm.
It's pretty cool. It's definitely something you should look up. So it's like a big. There he is. A
There he
big
is.
thing. A big thing is they think it
Hey,
was
dude.
like just rich kids, bored rich kids terrorizing the neighborhoods and stuff of London at the time. I mean, like this is like around the same time as Jack the Ripper too, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
I think so.
So
David, how are you?
Now that Zoom decided to work, much more gooder.
All right.
And instead of soda, I'm eating locally made ice cream.
What flavor?
Sea God's Caramel. It's Viking Feast ice cream. It's sea salt and caramel ice cream made by a
Nice.
friend of mine who learned how to make ice cream in Iceland.
interesting.
Very good.
cool.
It's fucking amazing.
So remind me
mainstream,
again what
you
state
might
you're
say.
in, David.
Washington State.
Washington. Oh, all right. A hotbed of supernatural activity.
Mm,
I went to the Sasquatch Museum that's up here and brought back.
Sick.
I should buy that down. I have a
Speaking of Bigfoots,
yeah. I've got a whole bunch of weird Bigfoot stuff I brought back from there.
Interesting. You know, what about Mothman? We never really talked about because we don't have any West Virginians. Point Pleasant, West Virginia, Mothman.
Yeah, the Mothman. Yeah, that's
anybody,
a good one.
Anybody
too.
into the Mothman?
He spreads up into Maryland as well.
Oh, I could see that for
Yeah.
sure. Maryland, West Virginia.
Yeah, when I was
I mean-
stationed in DC, we heard about I had troops that were from Maryland and Virginia, and they would try to tell us about it all the time.
Interesting.
To the Chernobyl point you made earlier, Brian,
Yeah.
there's supposedly sightings just before the disaster in the town of a creature that would be described incredibly closely to that sort of Appalachian Mothman
Mhm.
appearing in Ukraine right before the disaster. Sort of because the whole
Yeah, he
Mothman
always-
thing, right, is that he is sort of a harbinger
Correct.
of disaster or whatever, and there are reports of big glowing eye watching you
Would
guy.
he be technically a harbinger or like a herald? Like, does he? Does he bring it, or does he just like?
So I went to Chernobyl, and they do talk about that he showed up in all the little towns and the edges of Pripyat, the big city where the Ferris wheel and everything's at. So he would have been the herald of it.
Interesting.
Mm.
So the big thing is, okay, so there's countless catastrophes all over the world all the time. Like there's probably one happening right now to the effect of Point Pleasant bridge collapsing, right? So like I mean, no life taken over an accident, is something to scoff at, but say, where was he during 9/11? You know what I'm saying? Like a massively catastrophic event.
He got held up in Jersey at the toll booths.
Yeah. So like that, I don't even know. Like, let's see. So Point Pleasant.
Well, no, Trump said he was celebrating on rooftops right after the. Sorry, that's a bad.
Allegedly, there was a missile base or an ammo dump where this was a series of sightings. It just wasn't he popped up near the
No,
bridge.
Yeah. So
This happened. There was a long thing.
there was the kids out at Lover's Lane.
Yeah,
Was like
there was a
the-
munitions dump, a World War II munitions dump. But then you get into something else. Then when you get into like the Mothman prophecies,
Yeah.
Yeah,
John
that's a
Keel's
whole
book,
can of worms.
that just like fractions off into a whole other deep. I don't even know what you would call it. Like that Ingrid Cold and
Yeah.
these supernatural or extraterrestrial entities. It gets really, really disturbing. That was a really scary book.
Well, the movie is interesting too, even though like I mean obviously John Keel, the guy who wrote it, is like he was on Art Bell.
Yeah,
That's a great episode.
I highly recommend the Mothman Prophecies, the book. I haven't seen the whole movie, but I read the book and it's scary. It's really disturbing. 46 people died on the Silver Bridge.
No, not 46 people died. It was like 13. Was it 46? I thought it was 46 injured.
46 seems like a lot of deaths
Yeah,
from a
I
bridge
don't-
of that size, unless
I
it was
remember.
packed or something.
13 deaths, 46 bridge collapse victims.
Okay.
Oh, wait,
All
no,
right.
disaster. No, hold on. It collapsed in 27. Oh my God, there's so much going on here.
Didn't
60 collapses in 67. There were total 46 deaths, but not all right at the scene. It was, people that survived but died later on in the hospital.
There you go. Dang, that's still a lot.
and
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
didn't the Mothman accurately predict that number or something like that?
I don't think
That-
Mothman ever actually talked to anybody. That's like the
Okay,
John Keel book.
gotcha. Okay.
I mean, I could be wrong. We're going off pure speculation and pop culture at this point.
Yeah, Mothman's not one I'm too familiar with.
Yeah,
I'm
it's weirdly like right around the DC area is where you'll find it, and like it doesn't spread out much beyond that. When the movie came out, people were like, "What the heck is this?"
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
It's not like Bigfoot or Chupacabra or my
Yeah.
favorite jackalopes. Everybody knows those.
Oh yeah, we didn't even get into chupacabras.
But so the Indrid Cold thing is the really weird stuff that comes out of Mothman Prophecies. Who is this Indrid Cold person? I won't get into that, but if you wanna, the documentary, the
that's
show
another-
doesn't really conclude anywhere. But if you want to go down this rabbit hole of Indrid Cold and the fractures that come out of the Mothman Prophecies, is Hellier, Hellier. It's like a paranormal investigator documentary, but they touch upon some really weird stuff.
Yeah, it's
It
pretty
was
good.
a
It's
creepy
on YouTube,
documentary.
right?
What's that?
I think you can watch it on YouTube.
Yeah,
actually.
you can. Yeah. Yep.
Interesting.
Lancaster is, I want to say but it might be one of the oldest inland cities in the country.
Hmm.
So we have a lot of ghost stories.
Interesting.
We have a
I mean-
statue that walks down steps. Ooh, supposedly. Yeah, I can't think of any of the ghost stories offhand. But we also have so the Amish, and then we have the Mennonites, but then we also have what's called the Fancy Dutch.
Yep.
And they actually have this tradition. It's kind of hidden within the community, but they basically have like witches, like folk magic practitioners. And I don't know how like prevalent it is today, but
It comes from that old like Dutch,
Yeah, like the
European
German-
hangover pagan stuff that kind of
Yeah.
stuck around with them.
yeah.
Mm. Like you talking like eating kids witches?
Well, apparently, so the people in the community that practice this are called, I don't want to pronounce it wrong. Brochers. I don't know. It's spelled funny. It's a German word. And
It's fine.
they're like witch doctors,
Hmm.
right? Like, so I talked to a lady that I worked with, and she said, like, when she was a kid, if she was sick or whatever, they would take her to see her aunt, but it wasn't really her aunt. And like sometimes they'll call themselves doctor, like I'm going to see Dr. Stoltzfus or whatever, but they're not doctors. They're these brokers or whatever you call it.
Shamanistic medicine
Yeah.
apothecary kind of deal.
Yeah, like
And they'll-
herbalists, like hedge
Yeah.
hedge witches and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
supposedly they like combat these other people in the community that remain hidden that are like witches.
Oh.
And they'll have these
Oh,
things.
wow.
They go into this dream state at night or whatever, and they have these, they call them night battles, where they like try and like figure out who the witch in the community is. So the one story she told me was their neighbor's cow stopped giving milk or something, and they called over her great aunt or whatever, and she asked if they had any of the milk left, and they had a little bit, and she put that in a pot on the stove, and they put needles in and turned the heat on, and she said the pot like boiled over with just like a little tiny bit of milk. And then that was how they found out who the witch was or something. And then the cow started giving milk again. There's like a ton of these crazy stories. Like another guy I worked with said that his dad had freckles like all over his body, on his face and stuff. And his uncle did a spell that moved his freckles from his face to his shoulders or something.
Wow.
Yeah, like just weird shit like that.
Hmm.
And there's one where they like take so there's a lot of like correspondence stuff going on, like if you know what like sympathetic magic is.
Yes.
So
Yes.
they'll take like a red string, and then the color red represents like fire or whatever. So like if a kid had a fever or something, they would say, oh, they're, the witch, they're hexed. And they would take like a piece of red string and measure the kid with this piece of red string, and then they would go burn the string, and the kid would not have their fever anymore or whatever.
Yeah.
Interesting.
There's all kinds of weird stories like that around here.
I bet.
So I'm looking this up right now. This is really interesting. So these people adapted the word powwow
Yeah.
from the Algonquins, and that's these are the kind of rituals they did. It's like Christian magic.
Yeah.
I got to look more into this,
The
man.
lady I worked with said when she was a preteen, she had plantar's warts on her feet real bad. Like she could barely walk. It hurt so bad. And she said her aunt came over, and she came in the bedroom, and she like held her feet, and she said she asked her, do you believe that Jesus Christ can heal you? And she said yes. And then she said her aunt mumbled some words and like did the whole like right, and then like within a week her plantar's warts started going away.
Man, there's something to it.
Yeah, I don't know if now did she like put some ointment on there while she was doing all that, or I don't know, who knows.
It reminds me of like the old like pagan magic stuff where like women were the only ones that were allowed to do magic in like the Norse and northern, like, and that's kind of that part of the world, the Dutch, German whole thing. That's kind of like a hangover there. So I think it might have been something that was adapted then into, like Joey said, Christian magic, same kind of stuff.
Yeah, one of the things I heard was that there's always, it's kind of weird, like the Sith thing or whatever. I've also heard that this isn't true, but it was supposed to be that like a male would teach a female, and then the female would teach a male, and then so on down through the ages or whatever.
It looks like there's a lot of cool books and like historical grimoires that you can find on this stuff. Very cool. That's all news to me. I love learning this new stuff. Basically right in your own backyard.
Very
Don't
interesting.
ask any Amish people about it though.
It's the Amish mafia will kill you.
So, Jared, you want to go? I'll drive down to Lancaster because you're not that far from me, and we'll go witch hunting.
Sure.
Jeremy, what conspiracy theory did you bring to the table, to the Midnight Society?
Nice reference. So I considered a bunch of different things, and I decided to go with this one because I had a sort of tangential personal connection to it. I've never been abducted by aliens, never known anybody who claimed to be abducted by aliens, but I did live for 2.5 years in Las Vegas. And a buddy of mine, while I was living there, he was retired military, and Nellis Air Force Base, their in-house fire department is civilian contractors with military backgrounds. So you basically had to have been a firefighter in the military, then retired from the military before you could get the job as a firefighter at Nellis Air Force Base. And because he was contracted with the military, a lot of his conversations he would have with me about work were heavily redacted, but in verbal form. So he would say things like, so we were at this place doing this thing. And that was all he could say about it. But that was the build up to this funny thing a person said, or a thing that happened that he could talk about. Well, he finally was up for a promotion, and that promotion was going to include Area 51 clearance. And he was really nervous leading up to this because there was going to be a whole battery of tests that he had to pass and other things, and he wasn't even sure if this was something he was going to want to know about, because now he'll be in the know but won't be able to tell anybody. Well, he finally went through the whole process, got approved, and was really excited about this thing he couldn't tell anybody about. And I asked him one day, I said, so is there anything you can say? And he said, well, I'll tell you this. A whole bunch of things I believed before, I no longer believe. And a whole bunch of things that I never believed before, I know for a fact are true. And that was, of course, all he could say. So I don't know what things he no longer believed and what things he now believes. But I just I found that particular exchange and the seriousness on his face when he said that to be really intriguing. So I was remembering that and decided to look at the whole aliens and Area 51 conspiracy, and found some things that I didn't know about before. Like I knew that the UFO craze started in the late 40s, but I didn't know that it was supposedly linked to a couple of former aerospace engineers from the Third Reich who supposedly had created a flying disc. And that was the whole start of it, was the US government trying to track these guys down, and everything was some people were saying it was aliens, some people were saying no, it was this thing created by these two Nazi scientists. But that's apparently where we get the whole flying saucer concept, was from something that these two guys supposedly created in the late 40s. And then some people who are looking for other explanations besides aliens have made an interesting connection, kind of a jump from there to the later UFO sightings, and specifically the Roswell crash, that it was actually a Soviet hoax that was intended to apparently destabilize our advanced warning system for incoming crafts. If they sent these, supposed alien visitors, it would tie up all of our resources and then leave us open for attack. But their test run failed, or something went wrong, and the U.S. government covered it up on our end, not because of aliens, but because we didn't want the American public to believe that the Soviets got that close. So I thought the connection between those different things was really interesting. The Nazi connection, the Soviet connection, and then my buddy's experiences, basically having his whole idea of what the truth of Area 51 was turned on its head.
I like your statement about what your friend said, that
Mhm.
he doesn't believe in certain things anymore as a result. I find that almost more interesting than he believes in stuff now. But what would you what beliefs would you throw away as a result of receiving information like that? That's neat.
Yeah. So what are your beliefs and experiences related to aliens, UFOs, Area 51? Where's your interest on that?
I personally have never had an experience, although I actively try to contact aliens every time I take out the garbage at night.
You take a little transistor radio out there.
I have my Close Encounters of the Fifth. I showed you that, the Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind communication handbook. Like, they try to tell you how to use meditation to summon whatever the entities, they refer to them as entities, are. I definitely believe that aliens, I mean, I think statistically speaking,
aliens exist. Let's just get over it.
Exist. You have had. I won't.
Statistically, there's no question that aliens. I mean, just in our galaxy alone, the number of planets, it's statistically improbable for life not to exist on another planet.
Right.
Yeah.
What I'm interesting in are the existence of underwater USOs.
Yeah.
Right.
That all ties into the hollow Earth theory for sure.
That they are here. They're just cocooning down there.
Intraterrestrials.
We have
Underground.
no clue what exists at the bottom of the Marianas.
Yeah.
Do you know who David, is it David Icke? David
Yeah.
Icke?
Well, David Icke, reptilian.
Yeah, the reptilian guy.
Mhm.
I watched this thing back when you actually got DVDs in the mail from Netflix. It was him interviewing this African shaman guy that said he went inside this mountain and there were grays in there, and they were like, he said that it was just a suit, and underneath the gray, they were like fish people.
I've heard that before.
That story sounds a little fishy.
It does.
I have heard that what we consider grays is really an exosuit.
I like that alien hook. It really reeled me in.
Raise your hand if you are comfortable to say so. Otherwise, we won't dig. Have any of you seen an unidentified flying object?
Yes, I've seen a ton.
Yeah, I've seen a lot too.
Yeah,
just because it's unidentified, it doesn't mean it's extraterrestrial.
Right. Hey, see, he didn't specify. There's a lot of stuff I see that I don't know.
I've seen a ton of stuff. I have no clue what it is.
Yeah.
What about
I was driving home from work one night and saw, I don't know, like an orange orb. It wasn't the sun. And then suddenly I didn't see it, and it was a really weird experience, and I don't know if it was just like drugs or but the way I described it, I posted on Facebook when I got home. The way I described it was that it didn't disappear. It was as if it never like, I don't know how to describe it. Like when it was gone, it wasn't like it went away. It was like it was never there. But I distinctly remember seeing it. I don't know how else to describe it. It was really weird. It was just like, 30 seconds worth of an experience.
Interesting.
And I have no idea.
Have any of you seen something in the sky make navigational movements that defy?
Are you trying to get my story out of me? Yes, I mean, I'll get to my
we got military guys here, so
yeah, David. I was going to see if David had any deployment alien stories.
No alien stories. When it comes to aliens, I'm of the I guarantee there's life out there, but at best we're like zoo animals to them. So they're probably just hanging out like in orbit just past the moon, looking down at us, going, "What the f is with these things?" like they're still flushing their waste down with water. Or
right.
something like that,
Or it's like
they haven't figured out the 3 seashells yet.
Yeah,
Right.
we're just we're an interdimensional sitcom.
Yeah,
love
exactly. I've always loved that idea. Like, at best, they're hanging out there and like, like look at this backwater, tribe. It's like the tribe that's not been contacted off that island off the coast of India, and like it's you're not allowed to go there. It's like the last untouched Stone Age humans on Earth.
It's similar to Neil deGrasse Tyson's, like he's saying, like, the way we interact with like apes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, we taught this one to like do sign language or whatever. It's like the smartest, like aliens look at like, Beethoven as like a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Okay. So Joey wants to hear some movements through the sky.
Yeah.
All right. So the last deployment, we did a lot of airfield security for an Afghan National Army airfield, right? So
that place stunk.
Yeah, it was fun. So we were embedded within like the ANA and everything. So like we were like a company size element with not a lot of people, like for like miles, right? Miles and miles, just us out there. And so these planes would come in all hours of the night, We'd have to go out there, and there was stations set up, like predetermined stations where you would go and you pull security. So I would always go to the farthest reach, like Walker 2, we called it. It was the farthest one you'd have to go because you'd always see the weirdest shit out there. You would hear babies crying. There's like nobody out there. You would just hear like random weird stuff. So you would always see aliens out there because you got your nods on, right? So like you could see, like, because I mean it's pitch black. There's no like street lights. The only thing there is like the glow of the stars. If there's moon, if you have a loom, so you got your nods on. You could see everything. You could see past the stars. You could see like shooting stars, everything. So then all of a sudden you would see like nods are night vision goggles. They asked in chat. So you would see like sporadic movement, right? So you would see like a ship stop, zigzag down, and then spin off that way. And then like I'd be like, oh, like we would always like, oh, look at that. Like it would happen like almost on a daily basis. You would see him. And so my biggest one was I took a guy out there, redacted name. I won't make, I mean, he'll back me up. I talk to him still. So I'm telling him all these stories like, oh, this is it, man. Walker 2, this is where it's at. Like you're going to see an alien tonight. And he's like, oh, there's aliens, no aliens. So like we're poached, just because I mean, pull security, right? Like you're not actually pulling security, you're just bullshitting with your friends. So we're just, and I'm like, dude, you're gonna see an alien. He's like, there's no such thing as aliens. As he literally says, there's no such thing as aliens. 4 lights drop down into the sky right there, like just hovering. And then one by one flew off that way, one flew off that way, one flew up, and then one flew the other way. And then he was just like, all right, yeah, those were freaking aliens.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, I was prying, and thank you very much for sharing that. Because when you told me that was an excellent story.
Didn't
Yeah, I
you
have no reason to
basically
doubt it.
recently admit that there are
I
not
mean,
aliens but UFOs?
all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the video that they released from the F-18,
Yeah.
if you go through that, it's a goose. Like it's done in one of the other. It's not done in regular visible light spectrum, so it looks really weird. And the way that he's flying, and you're just like, oh, okay. If you look at it and you start doing like the math and stuff, you're like, yeah, that's actually just a goose. Yeah.
Like that's
There's
not a
been lot of,
military
like,
term. You're
Air
talking about
Force
a bird.
pilots that
Yeah, it was
an
like
actual
legit,
goose.
like like alert, like like a very just like a Canadian goose size critter flying, but not flapping wings. Just like cruising like they'll do at higher altitudes.
Our
Garrett.
great friends from the north.
Garrett,
Yeah.
I'd love your perspective on the existence of extraterrestrial life, or at least, well, let's say this, that they have tried to observe or establish contact with us.
Yeah, I think there's a definite correlation between the end of the Second World War, the advent of nuclear weapons, the advent of like alternate propulsion and different sort of weird superpowers working on weird craft that correlates with supposed UFO sightings. I'm a huge science fiction fan. Unfortunately, unlike Bigfoot, which I want so badly to be real, I just don't see the viability of little green men and flying saucers. It doesn't really ring true to me. I'd sort of like it to be true, but it seems, I would love for Xenos races to come to Neoterra, but I think it's just going to be on the tabletop as opposed to.
We haven't even got to Thunder Warrior times yet, so you can't have Xenos.
yeah. And remember, Garrett, if they do come, we have to hate them.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It's obligatory.
So,
That's
but like,
the dream, right? Is that we
I
unite
thought that was
as a
understood.
people and squash the bugs, and then we start to forge the super galactic empire, right?
Exactly. Mankind is meant to inherit the stars.
so
Just the way it is.
you're just saying like, in all the vastness of space, there's no other creatures that exist.
No, certainly not. However, I think if
They're
it's very amateurish.
from the future.
Like if the aliens are buzzing around and like flying all crazy and then disappearing, like it just doesn't really ring true. If they were here to observe us, they'd observe and we wouldn't know. If they were here to attack us, that would be very evident as well. But it seems like it's like a cat batting a mouse around. They're just appearing and disappearing, and it's like I would expect a spaceborne alien race to have more, like, if they're going to fill their reports out, what are they going to say? We zoomed around and
What if they're
for a bit and then we zoomed away?
what if they're like the neutrinos from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Yeah. Although those
Which,
aren't aliens, those are interdimensional punks
but
from Dimension X.
Yeah.
But speaking of Xenos, I do have the handbook against them right here.
There it is. Everything in that book tells you how to deal with aliens right
Exactly.
So I wonder, Garrett, since you brought it up, that with the dawn of the nuclear age, the sightings of unknown crafts has grown exponentially. And you asked the question, so what is their intention? Given their knowledge, why aren't they doing something? Could it be that they are protecting us from nuclear annihilation, that they are just tooling around, waiting for the inevitable football case to be activated, the nuclear football to be activated?
I suppose so. I mean, it's as much as like we would like to imagine alien species to be like these little gray or green men, right? Because that's what we are, right? We're little men. I think the appearance, the technology, and the motives of aliens coming to Earth would be so, and maybe that ties into your point, Joe, you know, that they're just like spinning wheelies and whatever, because, you know, anyways, it's just, to me, it's a product of all the things I mentioned before, pulp magazines and going to the moon and the man in the moon and everything else. I think it's people's imaginations. I mean, I watched a lot of X-Files. I get it. Like, I understand the preoccupation, but I think it is just, you know, a product of 20th century hysteria mixed with technology and pulp sort of.
What if the aliens are hanging out, you know, towards the back of the solar system, waiting for us to actually nuke the planet so they can come in and take over because it'll be easier.
To that point, I think it's pretty funny and typical of mankind to think that we are that important that we would have these quote, you know, guardian angels trying to prevent us from blowing each other up. Like, would they really travel millions of miles through space? Like, oh, it's the humans. We got to watch out. We got to save them because that's what we're here for.
I think if they're out there, they're probably waiting for us to nuke the planet so they can come in and sweep in without the problem of the hairless ape rodent things that we are.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we're like just an SPCA like sad commercial to them, and that's why we have to help them, you know, with like
they've got
sad
intergalactic
stuff.
Sarah McLachlan paying.
Yeah.
I mean, why not though, right? Like,
Sure.
or like what, like the Big Bang, we were like a chunk of a bigger planet that broke off.
For
We was,
only 2 Zolotnians, you too could sponsor human.
The day the Earth stood still. It's like, yeah, we're not here to save you guys. We're here to save the planet. Like,
Yeah.
you guys gotta go.
Because it's
Yeah,
like
well,
it's like, what if the Bible is like a actual like Garden of Eden, like
What was the ship name?
Adam and Eve.
Yeah, Adam and Eve were the captain and or the pilot and co-pilot, and the Eden was the ship that brought them here. And humans are just seated onto the planet. That's why, you know, we're so weird. Our chromosome is fused.
So how's everybody feel about the ancient aliens thing?
I mean, there's a lot of very interesting stuff because of the fact that, one, we don't know, you know, two, if we're on that conspiracy rabbit hole, how much information do we actually know that's not being suppressed, you know, theoretically, if you believe in that sort
look
of
at
thing.
that really popular Netflix documentary about like ancient civilizations and stuff.
Hang on, if we're gonna go that route, everybody's got to do it.
Aliens. That's right. So
I'm
like
not saying it was aliens,
but it was aliens.
but it was aliens.
Everybody's just gotta take the ancient aliens
Do the-
meme stance.
I think he does cameos.
Cameos now.
Yeah.
Nice.
He's making a ton off of those.
Alien boys. Alien boys.
So
Oh boy.
Nice.
And on Brian's story earlier, I actually know a bunch of people that have very similar stories to his from specifically Afghanistan.
yeah, so then what's up with that? you know, the cradle of civilization and all that stuff.
Well, that would have been Iraq.
Yeah, well, that's the
because there's never been civilization in Afghanistan.
True. Well, like the whole Iraqi Stargate, the real reason why we went to Iraq.
It's one of my favorites. I love that.
Wow.
You guys haven't heard that one?
I have. Yeah.
Yeah,
That one.
there was a Stargate in Baghdad, and then we came and took it.
That's where it all started.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense. Yeah.
I have met more than one soldier that absolutely believes that.
I don't see why not.
I saw
The
something.
Return of Osiris.
Yeah, you ever see the movie?
Anubis. Anubis. Yeah.
Stargate, the movie Stargate.
Yeah.
I need to get some of them figures, man.
I saw
I
something.
knew that was coming. I knew that was gonna come.
Always on the back of my mind. Those cards.
Yeah.
Just today, I saw somebody suggested that what if the pyramids weren't built up, but they actually dug a hole in the sand and dropped the blocks down in, and then the sand blew away later on.
Gonna be right back, fellas.
Yeah.
Wow. That would be something.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know how it would
erosion,
work,
right?
but-
Erosion's a thing.
Yeah.
Well,
Like-
we actually have pretty decent information on
Yeah.
on how the pyramids were put together, and like
Yeah.
it wasn't a desert at the time that they were building those. But part of the reason why it is such a desert is they tore down like all the trees in areas to build them, which
Yeah.
helped lead to why that area is so easy to became such a horrendous desert.
Clear cutting. Yeah.
Yeah, clear cutting to an extreme.
Yeah. We will
Joey.
not know until we know.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I just bought all 7 for $50.
All 7 what?
Nice.
Stargate.
Sorry.
figures.
Oh, nice. Oh, nice.
Oh my God. Wow. That's excellent. That
Were you
is
busy
great.
for a while.
That's why I'm only allowed to look up RPGs when I go on eBay, and then I still buy way too many.
Oh boy.
I've wanted them, and we talked about them because the cards are on like are some of the best cards I've ever seen on a figure.
Great card art.
And
They
like,
Playmates?
Hasbro.
Hasbro. Oh,
Yeah.
all right. Oh man.
Pro did something right.
Hasbro does a lot of good stuff.
I just like they're about to do a whole lot of not good stuff.
Oh
with,
yeah, well, I'll come on your show and we'll talk about that.
I'm not that, and that's not a conspiracy theory.
Oh, what with Wizards of the Coast and
Yeah.
yeah, the monetization of Dungeons and Dragons.
That's a whole episode. in itself.
I'm gonna have a sip of white birch soda to wash that down.
Need a whole actual beer.
You can get mint in box the winged glider alien attack craft for $20.
Do you have the old Dune toys?
No, that's not my time. That might be a Joey.
So I was a little kid when Dune came out, and my family had a store, and I remember we went up to pick up something at Diamond's warehouse, and we knew one of the higher ups in Diamond at the time, and this was like 86, so 2 years after Dune, and like they just had this giant shelf full of Dune toys, and I was like, oh man, I love this movie. And he goes, do you want some? Please take them. They were getting ready to be sent back and destroyed because they just didn't sell.
That's
Because
why
Yeah,
they're
that
worth
was-
so much money now.
That was my
Yeah.
time, and I don't even remember them
They
like, at all.
they come out in 84. I think it was LJN that came out with them.
So
And
yeah,
the sandworm, I think, is one of the most sought after.
oh, it's just like a giant like
Yeah, 1984 LJN.
Of course, LJN put it out. They're known for
Yeah,
their
of
great
course,
Nintendo
it's
games.
LJN.
It's just like duct duct, like spray painted, like whatever it's called. I don't know. Like
Ductwork. Yeah.
ductwork. Yeah, just
Oh,
makes a
the
sandworm.
worms, yeah.
Well, but the sandworm was like only a little bigger than one of the guys.
Right.
So
right.
there was only like 4 or 5. I remember there's like main character, the Duke, Sting, the sandworm, and Gurney. So Patrick Stewart. Those are the ones that I can remember.
Well, there's
Well, I
like
think
sand-
they-
and the-
yeah.
and the sandworm was
come
so
out with the
small.
There's like prototypes or like, the promo shots for the extra characters, but they really only came out with like a couple, I think.
Yeah.
and
Yeah, maybe been 6 because
I
I think
mean,
Rabin also.
they merchandised the hell out of it too because they thought it was the next Star Wars. So there's like you can get like kids' birthday party, like plates and napkins, Dune.
Yeah, right.
Dune coloring
Yeah.
books, Dune color forms. Like it was all there because they thought like it was the next Star Wars, which obviously
And
a David Lynch movie wasn't really going to be the
well,
next Star
even
Wars.
if it wasn't David Lynch, Dune is just not a kid's thing. Like
No.
there's nothing about it that says, "Oh yeah, would you like to learn about the Bene Gesserit, there, child?"
The I mean, if you're
I
gonna,
want to know, like, it's like they made lunch boxes and trading cards for Dallas. What kid's gonna walk into 3rd grade proud of their Dallas lunchbox?
yeah. If you
Oh,
you've
hang
never
on.
seen
I
that,
thought, I thought he was reaching back
Yeah,
to grab his
he might
Dallas
have
it.
lunchbox.
if you've
I
never
love
seen
JR.
the Jodorowsky's Dune
The
documentary,
Dallas role playing game.
yeah,
There you go. The Dallas
Nice.
role playing game. Well played.
Nice.
pun intended.
Always within reach.
Hey,
That
David,
is great.
That's been sold out every time I've looked for it.
I have 2 copies. Well, I have 1.5 copies. I sent a copy to Germany for a bunch of stuff.
I used to go to bed right before that show came on. That was my
Yeah.
mom's.
That and
Jams.
that and Falcon Crest.
Falcon Quest. Yeah, Falcon Crest.
Yep. That was very she.
I love that somebody in the chat says there's Dune toys. Yes, there
Oh,
were
yeah.
Dune toys.
Beyond.
I'd have been all over it when I was a kid if I knew about it. But
I
Yeah.
saw
Oh.
Levi Combs posted a picture of the Clash of the Titans Kraken
Yeah, in his
figure.
car.
Oh my God,
Oh.
talk about a grail.
That's
that
a grail
was,
piece for you.
Yeah.
Well, not
Never-
for me. I mean, not in particular, because I never knew it existed. I don't think many kids knew the Kraken existed in toy form because
No, I didn't.
it wasn't like,
that one I knew about.
yeah, like I saw it. I think the first time I saw it was like in a Tomart's action figure guide. I had what's his name? Caliban.
Yeah.
I had that figure because that was like the 3 3/4 craze. Everybody
Yeah.
was
Yep.
buying stuff then. But
I had the
I don't remember
the-
seeing a Kraken.
Yeah, Calabas.
yeah.
Yeah.
I had the main character and Calabas. And I
Perseus.
always wanted this. Yeah, Perseus. Thank you. Brain would not work, but yeah, I had those, and I remember playing with those in
I think
my
those
sister's
were the only two I had.
Barbie playhouse.
Sure. Yeah. But I
No.
never remember seeing the Kraken. Like it wasn't really in commercials and stuff like that.
No,
You have the
Yeah,
alien. Do you have the big alien?
I had it as a kid. I had the Kenner alien as a kid. I had that, and I had speaking
my-
of $6 million
My
man,
cousins had that.
I had the alien and the bionic Bigfoot. Those are both before my time, but I had cousins that are a couple years older than me,
Right.
and they would give me their hand-me-downs. And I did have the Kenner alien and the bionic Bigfoot, and those are, that's like the top of the toy food chain. That and Speculatrons.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah. Yeah.
My holy grail toy when I was a kid. I don't care now, but
How dare you?
I never the big Darth Vader.
Oh, the 12-inch Darth Vader.
I desperately wanted that. I
That's
never got
interesting.
it.
I don't think I have a Grail toy now.
You don't have a Grail toy?
I don't think so.
My Grail toy is Bionic Bigfoot and Victor Vomit from the Breath Blasters line.
What about Great Garloo?
The Great Garloo is an iconic toy. That was from the 60s. I was only 4 in 1960. So I kind of missed that.
I think my grail toy would probably be just getting back some of the really big Power Ranger stuff I had as a kid.
Nice.
It's like I had like the whole Megazord sets, the transforming, morphing Power Rangers where you press their chest and it would flip from like their
I
regular
remember those,
human
yeah.
head to the Power Rangers. I had a bunch of that stuff. I had the giant turtle droid that like was like a carrier, like the Turtle Zord or whatever. I don't know what it was called, but all that stuff got just thrown away or given away, and it's like I'd like to get some of that stuff back, but it's so expensive now.
I need to go through my garage and dig out all my G.I. Joe stuff, like my aircraft carrier and space shuttle and all that.
Power Ranger line's expensive. I don't collect it. I don't know.
Yeah,
it is.
The Mighty Morphin stuff is pretty
Mighty Morphin
pretty
lines.
pricey.
David, you have the
flag.
You have the flag.
I do have the flag.
Wow.
What about the spaceship?
The space shuttle, I have 1.5 space shuttles. I know.
Nice.
I have a piece of the shuttle. I don't have the. I think the bottom.
Yeah, you had the big flat bottom part that would lift up into a play center, and then you had the cool roundy space shuttle with the 2 little winglets off the side.
I'd like to complete the Ravel.
Here know anyone in real life that had the carrier?
Nah,
the GI Joe carrier.
Yeah,
that's the flag.
That was the flag. I have one.
That's the flag.
It's in my garage.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a
I think
down
you're
the
the
street
first
from me
person
that
I've
had it.
met that's actually owned one.
I had a friend in
David,
college.
you're probably the first person I've heard that
I
actually had it.
A buddy of mine. Well, I met him in college, but then we were friends still. He claimed to the day, like, I had the flag as a kid. I had a flag as a kid. I was like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. Like on and on. And he had to call his mom up to verify that they had it because I didn't believe him so much.
Like, Mom, take a picture of it. It's in my room still.
Yeah, he's like, no, I swear.
I traded a bunch of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff that I bought at a garage sale to a kid. He was like, "Oh, G.I. Joes are for babies. I love Ninja Turtles."
I mean, yeah, makes sense.
I love Ninja Turtles, but I had way more G.I. Joe stuff. So I was like, hey, if I can go get these Ninja Turtles out of this garage sale for $1 a piece and trade him, 10 or 20 of them for his freaking USS flag, done deal.
I don't know how we got on toys.
It always ends up that way.
It always does. We're big toy.
Any
big toy
conspiracy theories surrounding toys?
Toy
Oh, I have my conspiracy theory.
Did the Boba Fett?
The Boba Fett.
Did the Boba Fett exist? I mean, yes.
So yes, it did exist. So I was a little kid in Northern California. We didn't live too far from Lucas's ranch, and we were at a mall, and they were showcasing some toys, and there was a Boba Fett, and his missile freaking shot out. Because my brother and I were both there. We remember seeing it. Because they were showing us there was somebody showcasing new Star Wars toys, and I was so excited. And when Boba Fett came out and his missile didn't come out, I was the most angry effing kid in the world. Like, ruined my Christmas.
So you're saying you probably saw a prototype?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. We saw prototypes. I had no clue what a prototype was.
Speaking of toy demonstrations, have everybody seen the Vin Diesel Street Sharks toy fair video, right?
Have you seen the Vin Diesel breakdancing video?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
I love that.
Head shark.
Zach, what was your conspiracy?
Oh yeah, sorry, Zach.
Oh, no, that's fine. Mine was actually that the 3 Mile Island incident that happened years ago was an act of sabotage.
Never heard that.
Yeah. So I have a really long page here that I'm not going to really read about, but I read earlier that it eventually boils down that the NRC did a really shitty job investigating the incident, and that there was security protocols that weren't in place of the 2-man rule, which meant that no one was supposed to be ever left alone in any like critical area of the plant. And later, a reporter got a job to investigate like the inside of the plant after this incident. And he found out that in some of the major security rooms, instead of keeping them locked, they were taught and kept open with like clothesline. So people didn't have to be lit. They were just lazy and didn't want to have to unlock the door every time they had to go in there. And that was that
sounds
whole
like
story was
every government.
redacted.
Yeah.
The whole story was redacted because it was actually a major security issue. And another cool thing that I found out while reading through all this is that there was a similar incident to 3 Mile Island in Ohio a month before that things looked like they were tampered with. And essentially what it boils down to is there's a really high possibility that it was an act of sabotage. And there's a lot of details that they go into in this pretty long document that I was reading through that I'm not going to read, obviously. But it pretty much boils down to whether it was like an act of terrorism, I don't know, or just somebody that was, trying to sabotage stuff. But yeah, this was a new one for me, and I actually kind of believe it, to be honest with you.
I mean, that doesn't necessarily. I mean, Russia was trying to get access to all kinds of stuff back in the day, and tripping up our nuclear power plants. And there are actually the only reason 3 Mile Island is as big as like anybody knows anything about it is because where it was. We've had similar incidents at other plants throughout the U.S. Nothing happened. The plant actually ended up doing what it was supposed to do and didn't run away or anything. It was built properly, unlike Chernobyl. And I honestly wouldn't put it past some type of sabotage, because there's been a handful of minor incidents like that throughout.
Some of the stuff that was said in it, as well as like the reason that it took so long for them to get everything working and the safety protocols to be put in place is because there was a lot of weird things missing. There was like, one was a valve handle was like just not, they couldn't find it. It was just missing and it wasn't supposed to be.
Oops.
And there was some electronic stuff that was messed with. And yeah, it pretty much boils down to like somebody either it was extremely bad negligence or sabotage.
Which it's a government run thing, so either could be true.
Right, exactly.
It's now that we have someone from the Pacific Northwest, we can talk about Polybius.
Oh,
David, do you know anything?
Yeah,
the
video game.
Polybius.
Yeah, the video game that
Oh man!
supposedly
Also the Greek philosopher.
Well, of course you would bring that up.
Polybius.
That's where the name
Smart.
came from, dude.
I know,
The
but you're like a
alleged
smart
video
guy.
game that was designed by the government.
I don't know how smart.
Oh,
to
definitely smart.
do some mind-
Oh,
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. So I didn't know how to. I never thought of. I've only seen it. I've read about it. So I was like
polybus.
Yeah.
Things. Yeah. But yeah, Polybius supposedly was an MK Ultra like government program to induce mind control through video games, right?
Yeah.
That's like the rumor.
Yeah.
Supposedly
Turn
people played
teenagers
it.
into sleeper agents.
Yep. Manchurian
People got
candidates. Yeah, people got sick and nauseated playing the game. Supposedly it was like Washington State was like the sightings for it.
Portland
Or
area.
Portland.
Yeah.
That was their test market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Which, I mean, if you look at Portland nowadays,
It's
makes
weird.
sense.
Yeah.
Or
like,
they probably messed up an entire generation of people, because
like,
prior to the 80s, because it was the early 80s when this happened, or when this was supposed to happen. So Portland was pretty normal until the 80s.
What about so like there's that theory about it, or like the last Starfighter theory with Polybius.
That they were training people.
Yeah, that they were looking for somebody. Which brings me into, anybody ever look into Cicada 331? It's like
You told me about it, but I forget.
It's like the puzzles posted under the name 3301 online between 2012
right,
2014. The
Yep.
puzzler, they were looking for like
Yeah. I remember when these images came around, but I didn't look anything into it because I'm just not a puzzle person.
Does anybody know what's
But-
going on with the street lamps? Guess that's the newest thing. Is
birds
like,
aren't real.
No, this like the lights all over the country, street lamps. The lights are turning like purple.
I mean,
It was
about this.
purple. And people were saying it's
So
like
yeah.
a surveillance thing, or
No, it's just so for ages, all the lights would have been a tungsten color, 32 Kelvin is the color temperature.
yeah.
And over the years, we've been replacing them with high powered LEDs.
Yeah, and
And
the coating goes bad or something.
yeah, it's just it's exactly what that one is. It's just like because I've watched LEDs go crazy colors in street lights, and then just they'll go out, and then a couple days later, crew comes out, puts a new bulb in, and it works perfectly fine. Either that,
they
or
went
I'm being
out of my house,
being
turned
surveilled.
blue.
Yeah. It's well
Yeah.
the the same crew that's like they're tracking us.
Yeah,
Or like
because the funny thing is
Yeah.
all the things that
they can see
probably
inside your
are
tinted
true.
windows now.
Yeah, all the things that probably are true are flooded out by all the silly
Right.
stuff like, oh man, the LED lights and the street lights, they're spying on you. It's like,
Yeah.
that's what we're gonna go with.
That's
I
gonna
have one more before
activates the vaccine.
No. I have one more before I have to call
And
it.
yeah, we'll call it. Well, it's like we've been running for 3 hours, and it's
This is a quick one that it kind of just fell into my lap when I was researching, nothing to do with conspiracies, but it's the mystery of the death of Philip Taylor Kramer, the former bass player of Iron Butterfly, Inagata Devita. All right.
Yeah.
So after he and this is I'm not going to do it. It's justice, but when he was 42 years old, he went missing in February of 1995. So he left, or after Iron Butterfly, he went back to school, and he was like the son of an electrical engineer, and he was like a genius. He was like a math genius. In addition to being, a really good performer. So he like after Iron Butterfly, he got a degree in aerospace engineering and worked on missile guidance systems for the Department of Defense. And then like facial recognition systems, bunch of other stuff, like all sorts of really deep computer stuff. And I think he came up with he didn't come up with CD-ROMs, but like video compression for CD-ROMs and stuff. Anyways, he seemingly got himself into some trouble. And I think he told his dad, like, if they ever say that I killed myself, don't believe him. People are coming after me. And I think because he had been working on something to do with I don't know, like he was getting into deep science, and he felt that people were after him from the government, and he had told people close to him, if I go missing, or if I am labeled a suicide, don't believe it. But then there's this story about how the night of his disappearance, he was supposed to pick up friends from an airport. He made a frantic call to like members of the band that he hadn't spoken to a while, and he seemed to be in a frantic state. He did call a suicide hotline and saying, I'm going to kill myself or something. And years later, they found his vehicle at like the bottom of a ravine. And I think his family doesn't believe that he killed himself, given what he had said. But at the same time, he did present in a state of kind of panic and confusion around that time. But he was working with the Department of Defense on some deep science stuff. So I don't even know what I was looking up. I wasn't even looking up conspiracies, but I found out, I think I was looking up like, weird rock deaths or something like that. And that came up.
Did you ever look at Jack Parsons, the rocket scientist occultist?
No.
Oh, you definitely look.
Oh, that
wild
sounds
shit.
pretty
He's
cool.
a rocket engineer that was like obsessed with Aleister Crowley and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah, I've read about this one.
Oh, wait. Is he the guy that was on he's not the high-ranking army guy who was a Satanist, is it? That
No,
was on Morton.
Or is he the
Morton
guy that was trying to recreate the Nazi
Bell?
bell of
Yeah.
unlimited
Bell,
power or
okay.
something?
Your
All right.
Glockenspiel.
Yeah.
the Glockenspiel
He's an
of
interesting
Bell.
character, but
I was going to ask if Philip Taylor Kramer had any information on the Clintons.
yeah,
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if there was a connection there.
It just going back to conspiracy theories, the Clinton body count.
Yes.
The Clinton body count. Yeah.
He killed himself by falling down an elevator shaft and putting 50 bullets in his back.
He fell
all
on those
these-
bullets.
Yeah.
all these Russian high-ranking Russians falling out of windows all around the world.
Have you seen the?
They have vertigo.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Well, that's not a conspiracy. We know what's going on there.
Have you seen the Christmas ornaments? It's a picture of Epstein. It says this ornament didn't hang itself.
Didn't hang
either.
itself.
Oh, Jesus. Well, I'm gonna call it a night.
Yeah, we're gonna. On that note, So this opens up to we'll have to do a part 2, and then because
Part
there's
two.
there's so many
Yeah,
other
Brian,
conspiracies.
You
We didn't even
get
touch the
to, like,
Philadelphia
your crazy
experiment.
stuff.
Yeah, I
Wow,
was going
it's
to
one
talk
of my
about
favorites.
Admiral Byrd and the Antarctic expeditions. So I got
Yeah.
some videos to show that.
Oh, really?
Oh, very interesting stuff. Yeah.
You want to really
Yeah.
read a crazy ass book? Behold a Pale Horse.
Who
It's
wrote it?
Nutty. I can't remember the guy's name, but
I mean-
it's like conspiracy theories.
Oh, awesome. You read any
we-
Philip K. Dick books and you're already there.
Man.
Can we do part 2 of this, guys? We'd love to have you all back. And
Yeah.
I want to hear Brian's conspiracy. I'm sorry, Brian, that I gotta head
No,
out.
it's 3 hours. We were talking
Yeah.
about we can't.
Well, let's
we
make it a
can't.
part 2.
All right,
Yeah,
yeah.
part
So
two.
Good crew.
we'll do a
Part
part
two.
2. Well, I mean, yeah, we could do it. We can even go next. We could do it again fairly soon.
Yeah.
We'll get a
Mhm.
date and we can all figure out. We'll get a conspiracy.
Conspiracy theories part 2, the electric
Let's do a
boogaloo.
Zoom call together to discuss when to do. Right, that's how you do it, right? Like,
Yeah.
You gotta schedule a meeting to schedule the meeting.
Right.
Don't laugh because me and Joey do it all the time. We have meetings all the time. But all right,
Well,
yeah,
gotta-
Great
you gotta
talking
do
to
the-
both of you.
Gotta do the open invitation again on the.
yeah, totally. I definitely
Oh,
want
my
some
goodness.
kind of Max Headroom character showing up, like something
Yeah.
with some panache, not just like no camera.
Not a soundboard.
Well, that
Yeah.
No
guy
camera.
earlier, I had no clue what he was
Yeah.
even saying.
I-
Like, I don't even know.
I
Well, no
wanna-
one knew what Max Headroom was saying either.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
he
wanna
did.
signal
He
an
said, "Catch the
interruption.
wave." Yeah,
I want a Toynbee tile kind of, Max Headroom thing next time.
yeah, absolutely.
All
See
right,
if I can
guys.
arrange
All
it.
right, from
Thank
there,
you for all
thank
of you
you.
that stuck around in the chat and contributed. And this crew will be back again soon with part 2, Conspiracies for Randy.
All right,
Good
have a
night,
good night.
everybody.
Peace
Later.
out.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks,
Oh,
everybody.
yeah.